Welcome to Core, everybody. This is Core for Thursday, November 4th, 2021. Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger back at it again, talking about games, the industry, and more. And what a time to be alive. Video games coming out left and right. Bing, bam, boom. Just nothing but games. Just raining down on us like we're, like we're doing a dance.
The only thing that there's more of than games are delay announcements.
That's true. And you know what, Bo? Glad you brought that up. When February 2022 rolls around, I promise you, I said this on Twitter, I'll say it again. I promise you, 2/3 of those games on that February list that have already been bumped there for delays are going to get bumped again. Guaranteed. There's no way that month is as packed as it is currently with all the delays to February. The February delays are all going to get pushed further. And we have some delays today to talk about that are kind of gnarly and long term. But yeah, we're heading toward delay apocalypse, everyone. So enjoy the games you have now. You all have a backlog. You've got games you bought on the Steam sale. Who knows what you're playing? You've got plenty of things to do, right? So let those games simmer. Let them be properly made. And we'll get around to them. It's fine. Speaking of that, let's talk about that. I'm actually going to move this one up. Blizzard. Let's talk about Blizzard for a second. Blizzard is having another very bad week in a bunch of ways. Co-leader of the company, Jen O'Neill, has stepped down after only 3 months. That leaves that one guy, and that's it. What's his name?
Mike Ybarra.
Yes. Mike Ybarra, right? Right?
Yeah, I think last name is definitely Ybarra.
It's a Gazelle situation.
It is Mike.
Ybarra?
Mike. It is. It's Mike.
It's Mike. Well done. You nailed it.
Oh.
Yeah, good job. Here's what we know, though. So as part of their, it was all happening at the same time as their earnings call, which looked okay, but there was all sorts of warnings about, all right, listen, it's not going to be so rosy next time because here's what we think. And they announced that they're going to have to delay, and we still don't have like dates anyway, so it's hard to say what a delay of a game with no release date even means, but Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 probably not happening until like 2023 at the earliest, I would argue. And that's a bummer if you were looking forward to those, or a positive if your goal was to see Blizzard make some change and maybe do it by the time these games come out. Now they have some more time to do that. I'm not saying it guarantees anything, but they now have time to kind of clean up their act before I spend the next $60 I'd spend at Blizzard. So I guess could.
Unfortunately, Jen O'Neill does not necessarily suggest that things are cleaning up faster than. Not to say that she's leaving because she was, harassed or anything like that. Like, to be clear, she said she had a very good experience and that she has a lot of hope for the company and all of that. But after only 3 months, leaving is not a great sign. And the article on the Washington Post had some people who spoke anonymously. It even says for fear of reprisal, which maybe also suggests that not everything is rosy, but that it's very suspicious to them and very concerning to a lot of the employees there.
Oh, yeah.
And very worrying.
Imagine you get Mike Morheim's spot and you're like, actually, I'm out. Like, I know it's a co-chair and it's a studio head and not a CEO, but like, seems like pretty awesome thing to be doing. And to be like, actually, I'm out. I mean, it's obvious to everyone. There's no spin for it.
It seems obvious to me. Yeah.
It's very obvious.
If it was going great, I don't think she would leave. And, she hasn't said anything super public about it. But if I had to guess, it just looks like a really uphill battle. It kind of doesn't matter at this point what anyone says in a leadership position at Blizzard, having not really addressed the initial demands and requests of employees. Anything else they say just feels like weird fluff and lame. Like it all just kind of comes off as, okay, well, that's not really fixing anything, or okay, well, that's not really addressing the issues, or nice distraction, but we still, we're still listening, we're still paying attention. And I don't know how they get around that other than.
Well, how about she felt like she was a symbolic hire?
Could be that. Yeah, totally.
It's what it looks like, because they're like, okay, Jalen Brack's going, who are we going to get to right the ship? Let's get 2 people and make sure one of them's a woman. Why not just give her the position? I mean, Mike, I'm sure, is a great guy, but what was so bad about her that she needed to have Mike there? Or vice versa. Maybe Mike was just the right pick, and maybe Jen wasn't working out for them. Maybe they're like, oh my god, this person is so radical and isn't business oriented. We can't, not a good fit. But like, one would think someone would be thinking about that before offering a position of that stature to someone. So either way, like, it screams of like desperation. Like, they probably don't have anybody. They probably don't feel they have anybody who's a woman who's also capable of that job. They may be wrong about that, but they probably feel that way.
Yeah, they might.
I'd have to imagine why the half step. But like, it should just be the most qualified person. Like, the reality is, it's like, a lot of industries are still dominated by males. I don't think I would be writing off Blizzard just because they had in this situation, just because it was a male CEO. Like, the thing to do is not to just do hires just because. You still hire the best person for the job. The important message has always been, it needs to be a safe workplace for women and for persons of color, and that's it.
If that was a performative hire, if that was a performative hire, like you're suggesting, like they just sort of did it for the optics or whatever, why would she want to hang around very long? I wouldn't.
Exactly. And she's going to work for an organization that supports women's rights in the gaming space. And I was just like, I would feel like I could accomplish less from a external standpoint than actually leading the company in a new direction. So that tells you everything you need to know about, well, she couldn't make change from the inside. Let's hang out on the outside. And she doesn't have to really deal with them again, apart from scolding them or telling them what to do and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which, on a personal level, I don't blame her. If that's what's best for her or for anybody, like, congratulations.
Yeah.
But the problem is not also Blizzard, it's the people staffing Blizzard, which would be the Activision executive.
And we're obviously filling a bunch of cracks here with stuff, information we don't have, but that's also part of this problem. None of this is transparent. None of this is them. They're never going to, their PR is never going to go, okay, here's what we need to do. We need to be very clear about why she's leaving and tell everyone every detail. They're not going to do that. So until they get more transparent, we're not going to know, and all we can do is fill in these weird gaps.
But the facts we have, like Bo said, and I think it's very well said. She didn't wake up. It's not like becoming a king. You didn't wake up, and go, oh, the king died and I'm the new king? Oh, that's crazy. I don't know if I'm ready for it. This was a position that was offered and taken. Like, she knew that this was a job she was going to get. That somebody said, do you want to do this? And she said yes. And it is now 3 months later, and she said, turns out no.
Yeah.
And yes, there are a lot of reasons why that could be different. But if you are trying to take a company that had this, is getting labeled based on the lawsuit for having a bro frat boy mentality, and you're going to put a woman in charge and she's gone after only 3 months, everybody knows what the optics of that looks like, regardless of what the actual reason is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's one of those things where even if you look at just the facts, it doesn't look good.
No, it looks terrible.
it looks really, really bad.
Yeah, it's really lame. So who knows what that will ultimately mean? But right now it's Ybarra, and it's him alone. We didn't talk about it last week, but part of the BlizzCon not happening again, we didn't talk about it, I guess. BlizzCon's canceled. Oh, that's right, because it was Friday it dropped, and we haven't had a show since then. Or it was Thursday, whatever it was. Anyway, BlizzCon is canceled for 2021 in any form. 2022, it sounds like, also. There's no digital plan and there's no physical plan. Part of that must have to do with the fact that the lady, I forgot her name, dang it, she runs the BlizzCon department, quote unquote. She's in charge or oversaw that. She left, and she was married to previous CEO J. Allen Brack. That's his wife, and she's out of there now. So now they're left without a leadership role in the position of this big community event. Also, why would you want that job right now? You got pandemic is enough to make that a nightmare. Yeah. Now add on top of it all this other stuff.
I'd rather be the CEO than that job, personally.
Oof, that's rough, man. So yeah, that's all up in the air, and who knows what any of that means. Like, there's an opportunity here for such a big clean out that I'm actually kind of looking forward to see where it all ends up, because I do have some optimism about it. But right now, it just all looks bad. It just looks bad and feels bad and is bad. If you want to, so tomorrow on the Instance, the big topic we're going to tackle is this weird World of Warcraft community council they made, which if you heard the pre-show, you got an earful from John. You're going to hear probably a little bit more of that from me tomorrow as well, but we're going to really dig deep into what the heck that means. And also, what does that mean in games in general? How much of a designed by committee is okay for a game and how much is not? Do small indie devs get away with more individual feedback opportunities than big, large companies with millions of players? Like, there's a lot to consider there. So tune in tomorrow. We'll go a little bit deeper in that. But on the games front themselves, I mean, Diablo 4, Overwatch 2. I know none of us here all that into Overwatch, although I would look forward to Overwatch 2 quite a bit, actually. But Diablo 4 is on, that's a game we're all interested in,
Yeah.
Like we all really want more Diablo in our lives. Knowing that that's 2023 at the best, how's that land on you, John? Are you okay? You gonna be all right?
I mean, I'll be fine. But I think a lot of that comes from kind of what you said. Like right now, I didn't quit playing WoW or quit playing Blizzard games because of what happened with them as a company, but it has certainly made it harder to go back to when you go, ooh. It was one thing when I felt like I was supporting artists.
Yeah.
And, it's a different thing once, it's exposed for what it is and you're like, ooh, turns out I was really wrong in what I assumed was going on there.
Yeah.
And this does get us a little further away from that. It does give us a chance to potentially be looking at games from a quote unquote new Blizzard at that time and maybe feel a little bit better about it. I hope for good games. Like even Overwatch 2, which I will be massively cynical about until proven wrong. I hope that game's great. I hope Diablo 4 is great. I hope all of it ends up being great. If they need more time, they need more time. And I can certainly see why anybody within that company right now would be having a hard time getting anything done. So, and they want to put their best foot forward, I'm sure. You do not want the first offering from Blizzard post all of this to be garbage.
Yeah, that would be bad.
That would be really bad too. I mean, we're already, we've seen the cracks forming for a while. We've seen the problems. We've seen everything that's going on. Another thing Bo mentioned, you mentioned as well, is that we don't have a CEO. Mike Ybarra isn't the CEO. He doesn't have Mike Morhaim's position. They've been slowly from Mike Morhaim to J. Allen Brack to then the co-leaders and now Mike Ybarra kind of getting a lower and lower on the totem pole like role, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
And we're now at a point where, you can very easily make an argument that we might be seeing the complete erosion of Blizzard turning over to Activision.
Mm-hmm.
That could be the direction we're going and what we're seeing. So who knows what the company even looks like when Diablo 4 comes out.
Yeah, I'm finding it kind of irrecognizable now. Just imagine what it'll be like then. Bo, are you like, but when will I see combat numbers above the heads of the demons I slay? When will I see a piece of purple loot with a light shining on it from the heavens? Are you concerned that your Diablo satiation will never be truly met until
I'm trying not to think about their games anymore, honestly.
Yeah.
I realize we sit down and talk about them pretty much every week which is fine, but I'm really trying not to think about like them right now because I did play some Mercenaries and oh boy, that's a bad sign like of things to come. I hit the Ding Desert and that same sort of thing happens. We're like, this is very incremental, empty calories for gameplay that, if I'm calculating, I need this legendary to beat this level. I want to do it free to play. So I have to do this other run where I get legendary coins. And so maybe I'll get it in 50 runs, 100 runs. I'm like, all right, let's do this. And then after 13 or 14th runs of the same content going, maybe I should just buy something. It would be much faster. I'm like,
yeah.
This is like the people that have the reputation, that company that has a reputation, work on it till it's done. Gameplay first, every voice matter, all that stuff, not present at all. This is Raid Shadow Legends. This is mobile predatory game mode, 100%. 100%.
I assume you're done, right? You dumped it.
The company okayed it. Like that went out with Blizzard's name on it, with Blizzard's approval, and Blizzard representatives out there including people on social media who are developers, are promoting it positively. And to me, there's a lack of truthfulness in what's happening. Even I don't think the people who are there might even realize that the outward perception of the company is shifted so dramatically that they have, that kind of thing with a developer, you have to earn that with what you do, and that's changed. And I think everyone's still in mourning, everyone's still in this acceptance phase and not quite there yet.
Yeah.
And so Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 could be has the potential to be a fairly unhappy experience. But
yeah,
there's different families within the company, so I still think it's possible for a good product to get kicked out the door.
Yeah.
But if something proves successful, that the bullshit's gonna fall. Like anything that company does now that's successful, and in spite of all this big corporate stuff, will have that stuff chase after it eventually. So even though at launch Diablo 4 is the best game ever, loot boxes and microtransactions and all that bullshit will be on the way if it isn't in there in launch. Like that's what Mercenaries is, honestly.
Yeah.
And loot boxes was a foray in that direction for Overwatch, and I don't see that changing.
Yeah, it'll be.
So they're just trying to ride out that reputation for as long as they can until it's just a game company. Like I think Activision and King and all those have no interest in being cultural leaders. Like I think there's a direct cultural opposition to what the Blizzard fan base has become versus what a gaming company typically is. We make games, leave us alone. Like,
yeah.
Like whatever we do inside, like that's our business. Like piss off. I don't know what goes on at Eidos Montreal. I don't know what goes on at Ubisoft. But we all gotta know what's happening at Blizzard. Oh my god, it's so important.
Well, it's because they
I'm
propped
pretty
up
sure they're
that
going
image.
like that's a mistake.
But that's them doing. I mean, I'm not saying we're not at fault because fans can buy into whatever we buy into. But they worked so hard to maintain that image over the years, and and from what we can tell, a lot of that was a lot of sort of false front kind of.
I think it was internal conflict because I believe Chris Metzen. Like you've interviewed him a number of times. He comes off as a genuine person to me.
Yeah,
and
he is like
and
that.
even now, in spite of all this, talking about craftsmen, talking about having a shop, talking about it being about the product, not about coke parties and cube crawls and crap. Like that's other. I think there's a lot of people in that company. People have different visions, and whatever that vision was, in particular, Chris, but I would even say Mike. I would believe. Not because of them, but because of what people I know have said about them, that there are people who really believed in that gaming first and were about gaming, but it's such a big company and they didn't stamp out the bad act. Like those people needed to get turfed. That needed to be addressed. It never got addressed. And then Activision gets involved.
Yeah.
And they're a whole different pile of priorities.
Yeah.
And they lost control of what that, and that's we're like victims of that whiplash of like, yes, we're a culturally accepted company. Every voice matters, and then it's like every voice doesn't matter. Profit matters, Smart in the hell, and it's and it's just that side's winning. That's all. And but there's still people who still believe in that there. So, but I think over time, I think it's done.
I hate to agree. I think you probably are right. There's a weird optimistic part of me that wants to see what they can do in the next couple of years, but. You're probably right. I don't know.
I still need to make a fun game. I mean, I play EA game, Dead Space. I'm excited for.
Yeah,
but I'm not. If there are workplace issues, I certainly hope there aren't. But if there are, I have no idea. I'm just going to buy the game and play it. You know what I mean? Like it's just
you don't currently have that expectation of EA or anyone else.
I don't require identifying with the work culture at Nintendo to buy Metroid Dread. I barely even think about it. I don't think about how my gas got into my car. And Blizzard, I think to its credit, was a company that's like involved in community because they're the MMO company and it's about community. And Activision's like, what the hell is this? We don't give a shit. Community, the only thing community is good for is to be marketed to. Like that's it. Like you market to them, they buy it, and then whatever.
You ever think you think they ever walked in going, what are you guys doing? Like, how do you get away with harassment, rape, and other terrible things if you're such community forward facing?
That's a cat like. That's what brought this to a head. Like, if that wasn't involved, what I described would still be the issue.
Yeah.
But then also, turkeys were in there also ruining it. And basically, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, you joined a company and ruined the company. Like, you're like, it's terrible. Like, for anyone to walk in and go like, oh, you're doing coke at work? This seems fine. Awesome. Like
Yeah, part of the
should have
problem.
been bounced out, man. You were poison. You are poison. You were poison going there. Do coke on your own time, but when you're working at a place that's focused on games and treating people with respect, like you ruined it.
Yeah.
And it was up to the people in charge, including Chris and Mike,
Oh,
to be like, you know what, we're gonna make a shittier game because you're a talented person, but no coke, no touching boobs to new employees, like. Whatever it is, whatever ridiculous shit they were.
Yeah.
Like someone killed themselves. You know what? All you guys are fired.
Yeah, you're all
we
out.
don't want like that's what needed to happen. That didn't happen. We'd still be having this cultural conflict, but unfortunately, this other shit also happened. That's how it's spun out.
That's a great line. Do coke on your own time. I like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I mean,
I
we're trying
wouldn't
to legalize
recommend it though because it's got urea in it.
We'll get to Urea Gate after. I got a few things to say, but we'll wait till my section.
Oh, okay. We got
not a big deal. We can get out of the way now, but
no. Hold on to it. I want to. We'll give you a whole moment for follow up on that because we had a lot of feedback.
It won't be a big deal. Don't worry. But anyways, it's coke on your we're trying to legalize a lot of drugs, not vilify it. Pot's legal here in Canada.
Yeah.
Don't smoke pot and drive a motorized vehicle at your construction job. Do it on your own time.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And same with coke. If coke were legal, it would still be like, don't do it at work.
Yeah. Not that we're
do it at home.
Not that we're saying pot and coke are in the same zone. We know that they're not, but I think Bo's point stands. I think it's fine. I think it makes perfect sense.
It's not the best. I'm not gonna stand behind. No. It's not the best point. John's right. It's not the greatest point in the world. But Blizzard's identity, its pillars were we are nerds and we love video games. So it's why are you trying to have this bro culture into your workplace? Go work on a construction site and you can hang calendars and naked women. I mean, that's bad too, but that's gonna exist somewhere right now. It's just the world we live in. It's not. Gaming's not the place.
Money's the problem. I really fully believe this. Now we all need money to buy stuff and get stuff done. But at what point did Blizzard, leadership at Blizzard, sort of ignoring when things are going on like that? There's a direct correlation with the fact that there is a river of cash coming at you every day, and that looks like success on all levels to everyone who can't see the harassment. They just go, oh, well, it's just nothing but upwards for these guys. They must be doing everything right. And I can't speak for Morheim. I can't even speak for Chris, even though Chris and I talk about this stuff. But as leadership there, this doesn't excuse anybody. In fact, it's the opposite of that. I just think the money makes everyone feel like it's okay to just status quo this shit. There's probably you could say this about governments or about anything where massive amounts of money and corruption are possible. It just always seems that way. You don't hear these stories about a tiny team of 5 people making a small indie game. There's a scale issue and there's money. And money is trouble, honey. And I was trying to rhyme and it didn't really work out.
I mean, one way you could look at it too, because they come from a small company. I mean, maybe they just weren't well suited to the big, some people are well suited to big institutions where you have less permissions to say there's more rules on behavior in a big company because it has to be monitored that way. But if you're 10 guys and you're all doing coke, whatever, you know what I mean? It's illegal. Okay. Yes. But apart from that, if it works for your work, or let's say you're all drinking on the job, let's be a little more reasonable.
Yeah. Closer to
if that works for your workplace as programmers, not a problem. But if everyone's drinking on the job in a place with 8,000 people, it's not going to work because there's always one guy that ruins it. And the more people you have, the more one guys you have ruining it. It's the one guy rule.
Yeah. There's more.
That's why we have any laws to begin with. There's a guy that ruins things. You can't drive over 50 miles an hour. It's because some turkey drove 200 miles an hour. Maybe you could go 60 if everyone was, better driver.
I like this dusting off of the term turkey to describe a no-gooder. I like this.
Yeah.
You've used it a couple of times.
You have to use a severe word, but they're turkey.
I like it. No. This is like an old term my dad used to say. Oh, that guy's a turkey.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I love that. Let's bring it back. Let's make it real again.
Yeah.
I didn't want
to.
Oh, go ahead, John.
We just had a lot of people, I think, get that, and we heard this, the rock star mentality, right? All of a sudden, people got put on pedestals and they started to believe it instead of the humble. And you can think you're a rock star and not have done the really bad things that some of them did. You can you can think you're a rock star. I'll give you an example. I did. This is a real lame one, but this is something that happened to me. I had an English class that I would go to, and in the English class, the teacher had a couch. So you had all your normal desk set up, and there was a couch back there. Mm-hmm. And very early on, me and a couple friends, we took over the couch. Oh. Couch became ours. Other kids began to realize, like, oh, the couch is a hot spot. We got to try and get it. But feeling big for our britches, we were like, no, couch belongs to us. So we would kick people off the couch. We would come in and we go, out. People would get up and move for us. And then that made the ego a little bit bigger. And it was like, well, no, we're in charge of this couch. Soon, there were more people on that couch than should be on the couch. And the teacher came in and realized he needed to rein it in. And he went, everybody off the couch. Everybody off the couch. Me and I think at least one other girl and one other guy who had always been on the couch didn't move. Just kept sitting there.
Just sat
this
there.
Couch belongs to us. This might as well be our seat.
Yeah.
He didn't correct it. We continued to sit on that couch. We felt like we were the rock stars of that class, and we could get away with anything. And that's a small little bubble, and it's nobody got hurt. Nothing was bad. Worst anybody had was they got told to get off a couch, and they had to do it. Like, but I think that mentality blows up to a larger scale, where all of a sudden you come out to BlizzCon and you've got thousands of people chanting your name like you're a rock star. And some of them definitely thought they were rock stars. They had a rock band. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just going to bleed into that mentality. And I think it's very, very hard to fight that nature once you hit a certain point, to not start to believe what you're actually putting out there and taking steps towards it. And I think there's always going to be an element to that. And I think that in some cases, it probably didn't affect people that much. But in other cases, it definitely made them think they could get away with some really skeevy business.
Yeah, I've told you guys that story where in 2014, I went down to meet Chris at the bar. He was down there with his wife and wanted to see us. So we went down there. And he pulls me in like a hug. I thought it was going to be a hug. Instead, it was him whispering in my ear. I think I've told you guys this, right? But he pulls me up. He takes his hand out and he kind of like gestures at the room, which is the Hilton bar. It's insanity in there. Mm-hmm. In a post-COVID world, I don't know how they're all not dead. It's jam-packed with idiots and they're all drunk. And he does this with his arm and he goes, "None of this is real." And I never got that out of my head. That has stuck with me since that night, that Saturday night at the end of October in 2014. It never left my brain. And I've talked to him about it since. Like, what did you mean? And he goes, I'm embarrassed, but I don't hardly remember it. But what I probably meant was, this is a lot of show for, we're making games. And it's not, none of this is super genuine or whatever. It really stuck with me. And it changed how I thought about a lot of things. I'm not trying to say he's a sage in this regard. I'm just saying that reminder of like, oh yeah, this is all construct. And it all comes from, like John's explaining, this place of, oh, I am cool. Oh, I'm much cooler than I thought I was. Oh, look how cool I am. And pretty soon you're, I don't know, Bruce Willis being a dick in an airport or whatever. Whatever, I don't know why I pulled that out of the sky, but wherever that takes you in a negative way, it's just not it's not a healthy thing. If I were Blizzard, I would want to go back in time and change how BlizzCon presented some of these people. Because I think that could have changed our perceptions. But then again, maybe not. No matter what, somebody had to be on a stage with a mic in their hand, and whatever natural personality they had was going to be looked at in whatever way it was going to be looked at. And some people are going to be seen for greater than they actually are. And there's no way to get around it. That's what people do. The minute somebody looks like they've got the spotlight, they gain a little piece of celebrity. And it's hard for people to deny that and manage that. I hardly know anyone who does that well. Like if you think of anyone in Hollywood, there's like, Tom Hanks seems like he's pretty down to earth, I think.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that all we got? Like, I think that might be it.
Even then, I mean, you never know. Like,
yeah.
Could turn into a monster.
Hey, so what happened with your couch though? Just,
Oh yeah, what happened? Yeah,
I found myself like, did you end up staying on the couch for the rest of the year,
Yeah,
or was it taken?
I spent every day in that class on that couch. I never
So
left that couch. I took
you,
tests
you
where
were
we were
like,
supposed to be at a desk at that couch.
Wow.
oh wow,
Wow. You really
like the
screwed
teacher
up.
tried to enforce it and realized he couldn't. Like he had rock stars on his hands.
I
He's just
don't know why he never came down on us. He said everyone off the couch. We didn't move, and he never corrected us. And it was like once he didn't fix the issue once, it was like, well, I've set a precedent that I
you
can't go
asserted
against
dominance.
now.
You asserted dominance over your teacher. I mean, think about it. He's like, oh, I'm defeated by these 11-year-olds. Oh no.
Yeah.
I better not try again for fear of future embarrassment, or I'll lose complete control. That's wild.
Yeah. And it's
I don't know. Kids are complicated, though. It's probably.
There was one comment I wanted to mention before I let it go too far, because we were talking about these game delays, and I think it was Sidian who said they ruined. Let's see, where is it? Oh, did I not save it? Dang it! Maybe I have it here still. Yeah, here it is. They ruined Overwatch with that stupid hamster.
No, that guy's awesome. That's one of my favorite characters to play. Don't do that.
That made me laugh, though.
That hamster's really amazing. I mean, Overwatch is a very inspired and great game. Loot boxes aside, I love Hammond.
Yeah, no, Hammond's all right. I didn't play him very much, but I had respect for the rodent.
I had a resurgence of playing Overwatch for a while, and basically I'd play nothing but. If I couldn't play Hammond, I'd play Ash, but it was pretty much all because I like Bob.
Yeah.
But Hammond, like literally all I would do in a match is latch onto a pole and just spin around, like at the payload or whatever, and just spin. I wouldn't shoot, wouldn't do anything else. I'd spin and occasionally alt and just spin, and you just knock people off the point forever.
Gosh, that sounds
ever.
suspiciously like a character that ruined Overwatch. That's interesting. I'm just kidding. I don't actually think that. But it sounds like some guy.
Good, son. I'm not indestructible.
It just sounds like some guy spinning on a pole is maybe the problem, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't play Hammond.
I enjoy trolley shit in these kinds of games. That's.
Well, there you go. Hammond, king of
Obviously,
trolls.
some people are not going to like it for me to have my fun, I guess.
Sure. Well, I enjoyed when we played together. I hope one day we can do it in good conscience again. Here's another delay no one's going to be happy about. Marvel's Midnight Suns will now be late 2022. It was originally supposed to be, I think, early 2022.
Yeah.
Which wasn't that far off. But yeah, the Marvel the XCOM team making the Marvel turn-based deck builder combo deal with some really rad graphical treatment. You're not going to get it till late next year. So there's that.
Lots of games to play. Take your time.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Give us a better game. I can wait.
I'm totally fine with that as well. I'll give you one of the games I played today is such a great example of just give it time. I can't wait to talk about it. All right. We got a recent release of Nintendo's new Animal Crossing update 2.0. It's a major release for the game. And it's out. I downloaded it. I haven't tried it yet, and I haven't played. I played that game till my eyes bled for most of 2020 and a good deal of the early part of this year. And then I went, boy, howdy, have I had my fill of Animal Crossing. I may never have to go in there again. Maybe till the next console, next version, I'm good. Like, played myself to death in that game. So I haven't played it in a very long time. But my kids are all losing their minds because they added like a ton of new stuff, crazy new items. Like, it's actually a massive update. So I'm going to check it out. I mean, I don't know what my island's going to look like. John, you mentioned it here too. Like, are you worried you're going to go back in there? It'll be just Weed City and not the good kind of weed, you know?
I have a strange, does anybody else experience this? So I've already talked about my Civ issue where it's like I always go diplomatic victory because I don't want the other civilizations mad at me, even though they're computers and who cares if they're mad at me. But like, it's a weird hang up I have of like, I don't want to make anybody mad. I get that way about Animal Crossing too. I'm like, if I go back now, they're going to be, that island has gone to shit. There's going to be weeds all over the place. Yeah. People are going to have left. They're like, we were counting on you to like make stuff and like organize this island, and you were our best buddy and you disappeared for a long time. Like, I'm genuinely worried to go back and face the animals. I thought about getting it and playing it the other day, and that's what stopped me. I was like, no, I can't. I don't know if I
Are they
want
really
somebody.
Are they really gonna make you feel guilty though? Like come in and you
Yes,
see
I
dead
think they
corpses?
100% will. I think they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, we haven't seen you in a dog's age." They'll
They will
say,
do that,
and
yeah.
like it's gonna be terrible.
They will, and there'll be overgrowth everywhere. You're gonna have to go pick it all, and no one's gonna help you with it. And you walk up, and one of those little angry dog characters or somebody's gonna go, "Where have you been? I almost moved out." Like that kind of talk.
How dare you play other games? Sounds kind of like a toxic game. I'm not going to get into a rant on this, but
I like it. Look at. I want to hear how. No,
toxic. It's a bit toxic to be like, you didn't play this game for 2 months. What the hell's wrong with you, you piece of shit?
Well, the
like,
idea, the game is so based on time, like real time, because the world.
Yeah,
turns to summer
I
and
understand.
fall and-
That's the genre.
Sure.
It's I respect it, I guess, is what I'm saying. But at the same time, like, you got other things to do in your life. Like, it's probably a good thing that you didn't play. Like, what the game should be telling you, I'm very glad that you spent time raising a child and starting a family and and not playing this game. It was actually probably better for your quality of life that you didn't play this game all this time. But it's good that you're here. You want to kill some time planting some shit.
Yeah.
That's that. So I'm on John's side. The game should not be hostile towards John. And if the developer's listening, you should.
I don't know if it's
should fix that
hostile,
aspect.
but it's John's not
Well,
wrong.
someone in chat said they for sure guilt trip you for reals.
Yeah, they do
Ziggurat
that.
said
They do that.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead.
They come up. The game goes. Okay, what villager did they talk to the most? Oh, they talk to Rosie the most. And they come up to you and they go, "Yeah,
Rosie's
it's been a
dead.
while since we saw you. Rosie died.
Rosie killed herself because she couldn't talk to you.
She was so
missed you so much.
lonely.
So lonely.
She was like every day." John would come to visit, and it was the highlight of her day. She really remembered, and then they checked the game logs, and they're like, they remember that you gave them a gift of a sweater, and they're like, she loved that sweater so much. That's what she was wearing the day it happened.
Ziggurat in the chat is saying you can actually now tell Isabel to make the islanders clean your island. Is that true? Because I would have done that already. Was that already in the game? Oh man, half my play in that game was like, oh shit, there's weeds I got to worry about. I would love to have one of those little turtles or some shit go clean stuff. That'd be great. Oh,
That's the kind of game I like. Was it Tiny Tower that was like that? They were like, it's still a check-in game, but if like those.
I like Tiny Tower. I was a fan.
I like the self-management games where the game runs even if you're not there, and then when you come in, you can still see what's going on.
Yeah, that's how I
know.
play that Star Trek game, the Legends game. I basically send them all on shuttle missions, and when they come back, they level up and bring gear with them. And I'm not really playing anything. I just like sending them off and having them do their work. So that's how I did Tiny Tower. I was like, oh, build this floor. All right, I'm busy for the next 3 hours. Come back. Oh, it's done. Nice. Look, people can move in. Like I used to love that loop. And that was a game you had to straight up pay for back when it was originally out. That wasn't a free to play game. So those timers, you couldn't skip them. You couldn't, game the system or buy gems or any of that stuff. It was just what it was. I miss that. I
get a lot of ads for that Star Trek game on Twitter. They're really pushing that Star Trek.
I think
game.
that's a different game.
You're in a database somewhere, some with a lifetime subscription to Star Trek Online. And like, this guy likes Star
That's
Trek.
true.
You can extract dollars from him. Let's go.
No,
Bump some
the
ads.
one you guys are talking about is a different game. It's called Star Trek. Okay, Legends is the one that comes with Apple Arcade that is free with Arcade and has you can't purchase anything. It's just a game.
I thought it was Legends is what I was getting the ad for with
No, it's
Brent
called,
Spiner dancing.
Oh, I have an ad blocker.
Do you know the
on.
one I'm talking about?
I do know what you're
Have
talking
you guys
about.
Seen that ad?
And all those
I got a
actors.
question for you related to that. Is Brent Spiner really a good actor?
No.
Okay.
Because you've seen him in look, this is no shade in his direction. He's amazing as Data. There's a reason he got typecast as Data. And when he was in anything else like Independence Day, he's just playing Data, like emotional Data. Like it's hard for me to
Fleet Command, that's what they keep.
Fleet Command, that's it. That's their predatory free-to-play nightmare. And that's the one they're advertising, not their one that doesn't do any of that, which is what I play.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I know is I keep seeing Brent Spiner doing a real hammy dance on my Twitter feed, and I'm just like, oh boy.
I don't think he's a good actor, but I don't think he's.
This doesn't
If he
make
was
you a
a
bad
tough
person.
call,
right,
Like,
it's
that's not a
fine.
judgment.
It's fine.
It's a tough call because if you've acted in the same role for like 10 or 15 years and we're really good, like we all love Data. I mean, I saw a little clip of Data on Netflix as it was passing through, and it was him, Raker's like, you think you're better than us because you're a cyborg? And he's like, yes, I do think I'm superior to you in many ways.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy's amazing. I'm like, you could say he's a good actor because he's beloved as Data.
Yeah,
Even if you
100% cool with that. Yeah.
The range he hits is everything I ever wanted out of Brett Spiner. You know, it's amazing.
He played a phenomenal Conan O'Brien in the South Park movie. So
that was pretty good. We'll give him that. But he's got the, you know, he's a fun guy. He accepts his typecasting with grace. He goes to all the cons. He's cool. He's a great guy. Yeah. But not everybody can
like him.
How many Patrick Stewarts are there? There is one. That guy came in as a seasoned actor and he left as one. He didn't get typecast.
Do you think Chris Pratt could play Data? I mean, come on now.
I wouldn't be surprised because they're making him voice everything
Only if
else.
he's a beloved anime character and he's just doing the voice. Yeah. Then Chris Pratt can definitely do it.
What was the new one this week? Oh, Garfield.
This week.
Yeah. He's
the new Chris Pratt controversy?
He's gonna be Garfield. That was announced this week. Prior to this, it was Mario.
Okay.
He's everything. He's everything, and it's a bad idea.
You know, Hollywood, there are other actors than Chris Pratt, please.
Also, Microsoft tweeted out, we're pleased to announce Chris Pratt as the new voice of Master Chief. And then they very quickly said, we're kidding. Sorry to our PR team. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
That was who did that?
Microsoft,
the Xbox Twitter account.
Oh, that was a good move.
Those guys have loosened up.
Troll.
Those guys have loosened up hardcore.
Nice
I like
troll.
It. Yeah, feels like the video game department over there. I hope it's a safe and wonderful place to work. Okay,
Microsoft. How does it feel to be Chris Pratt? Because he probably likes playing Xbox games. He's like, what? Xbox making fun of me?
I don't think he cares. He's worried about Thanksgiving at the Schwarzeneggers. He's fine. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
He has to sit and watch Arnold eat potatoes or whatever.
I guess so. It just seems it's funny. It's funny.
You think when Arnold sits down to eat potatoes, he goes, "Want to stick a knife in me, see what's going on in you?"
I think he sits down and just goes to town, doesn't even talk. Like he might go, "When I was governor, something," and just pounds it down. That's what I think he does. We'll see. No, we won't. No one's ever going to find out how he eats. Moving on. Let's go to this story here about. Sometimes there's a news article that makes you lose hope. League of Legends Jinx, the character Jinx. Bo, you're familiar with Jinx? You know,
Jinx is all right.
Okay,
all right.
Coming to Fortnite to promote a Netflix
favorite.
show. So it's not Jinx is coming to Fortnite because it's from the game. The game I just said,
Legends.
League of Legends. My brain just farted. Literally made an audible fart in my head. It's not that. That's not the reason. It's because there's that anime thing, 3D animated thing coming to Netflix, and so this crossover is to promote that, and that's just a lot of crossover weirdness, and I don't like any of it.
This is just the world we live in now for cross promotion. Like I kind of feel like the Avengers caused this, and I kind of feel like this is a thanks Marvel. Like. Yeah. From Facebook's new name change to everything, everybody's like, we gotta get meta with this. Like everybody's just like, here's how we get the kids to watch our Netflix show. We take Jinx from League of Legends, which is a game the kids aren't playing. Mm-hmm. We put her in Fortnite, which is a game the kids are playing, and then they'll watch our Netflix show, and maybe they'll do all three, and it'll be amazing.
That trailer looks incredible, though. To their credit, I think Arcane is the name of the show that's coming. It doesn't even have League of Legends in the name, I don't think. But I don't know if you guys have seen the trailer. It's very painterly, very cool looking.
It looks pretty awesome.
Yeah, it looks rad.
Vi is my favorite character from League of Legends.
So she's in
the main character. Like out of all the characters they could have picked, I'm actually shocked. I'm like, I'm gonna definitely be watching this.
Yeah, it looks good.
I just think she's just got the only reason I don't really care for her story or anything, but she's got those cool Mega Man fists that she uses that I like.
Mega Man.
So, you know.
Well, anyway, that's coming soon. I don't know when that show is, but I think it's before the end of the year. It'll all drop on Netflix at once, and I'm actually looking forward to it, even though I really have zero connection to most of the League characters. I just don't know them.
I mean, it could be terrible. I tried to start the Dota cartoon.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
And I'm like, I can't do it.
Mm. Well, Dota, everybody's called like guy with an axe, or I guess, or
yeah, but they have that. But they have that cartoon, right? Like, is it good?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
I couldn't bring myself. I tried. I couldn't.
I love the Castlevania one's one of my favorite things on Netflix. So I'm all for more game based anime. Totally cool with it. In fact, I'm pro that. And there's more coming. There's like was it Max Payne? Ah, shit. There's some other stuff coming. Maybe it was Far Cry. I can't remember. Anyway, there's a bunch of that coming, and I'm 100% cool with that. I think it's better than movies based on games. I think those flop because they're short and they have to make all kinds of concessions. I think you can tell a cooler story in a long format. I think a Halo anime would be great, and some of that already exists, but like something new. And I think in the Dota case, it's a harder sell because I don't know. It's like making an anime based on an RTS or something. I don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of there's a Street Fighter anime, there's a Halo anime. Like, it's you don't gotta watch it. It's just if you're really into that kind of thing. But
did you watch?
I was just curious. The modern stuff, like, is that Diablo one happening? I guess it's not happening. Eh?
No, it's still. Well, as far as I know, it's still happening. But they haven't said a peep about that since they first announced it. But I know I can tell you that the Castlevania one I thought was I really liked it.
Yeah, it was really, really good.
Yeah, more of that, please. That'd be cool. And I guess the Witcher one's really cool, except it's more based on the books and side stories and stuff. But I hear that's good. So I'm all for this. This is great.
I've got it queued or on my list or whatever. I think I'm going to check it out. Hopefully it's good. But I mean, Fortnite's been doing this forever. Like, they have John Wick and Mandalorian, and I bet you.
It will be in Fortnite before too long.
Everything will be. We're going to be in there doing the podcast.
Maybe we can be in it.
Yeah, we'll do the podcast, the Core podcast, and then they'll sue us because we use the name Core, and they get that dumb game called Core now at Epic. So we have that to find.
It'll all be good. It'll be fine. We'll just ask Tencent for some help.
They can buy it from us. We can sell the name.
We're on the market. Hey, listen to this. I forgot to play at the top of the show. Anytime anything mentions the word Core, I try to capture it and then play it on the show, and then I keep forgetting. I was going to play this today because you reminded me of it with the name. So here's this.
I need a computer that is 100% in less than 8 hours, and we still have core reconstruction to consider.
Yeah.
Core.
Core.
He really emphasizes it. Like, I feel like he said our name there because it was definitely in all caps.
Let's see
correct. Still have core.
Ooh, yeah, it does. Core. You're right.
Core.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's speaking of TNG, that's an episode of TNG, and I heard it, and I said, I'm capturing that and putting it on the show, and then I forgot for 3 weeks, so there's that. All right, moving on to additional Riot news. They say that esports is still not profitable, but they're okay with that. I think it pays off in other ways for them, but that's been true for everybody. And I think maybe it's time to acknowledge that but games in general have been a little too bullish on what esports potential might have been, because it seems to have petered out for everybody, or is not the profitable growth market.
I mean,
they all hoped it would be.
Pandemic has something to do with that too, but this statement made by Riot makes me sort of think that, like, I don't know if I felt like the plan was to get us to a place where games had leagues. Like, I imagine the NBA, the NHL, MLB are generally profitable. They don't, I think the thing about gaming is there's a company making a game behind it, and that game is profitable, but the leagues are not, because the leagues are essentially elaborate marketing leeching off our desire to have leagues. Like, I think esports is great, and yes, they're going to have marketing. I mean, MLB and NHL do, but I think for those things to be institutions, they have to enter a place that's profitable. And there's almost this sense of, like, companies are parasiting it, essentially. Like, it's an elaborate marketing strategy, where I felt like in the 2000s, early 2010s, it felt, I would say, like, I feel a little misled by a lot of what's happening. Not intentionally, just I think everyone felt like we could have video game leagues and this will be a thing. Yeah. And it feels like, because all the energy goes into selling the game and not the league, like, no one's trying to build a profitable league, that this is all just pipe dreams. And yes, some people get rich becoming e-athletes or, getting into video games, but that FaZe Clan, which is I think has something to do with competitive gaming at the core. I think it's a controversial thing. Most of their revenue is from, streamers and other stuff. I think it only count like the actual competitive side of whatever their logo is, because I think they're going out for an offering to be publicly tradable for like $1 billion or something like that. That it doesn't comprise most of their profit. And I'm like, so this is all just elaborate marketing schemes, elaborate marketing plans with streaming and anything other than let's make a profitable esports thing. And maybe it's because the truth is there isn't money in it. Like, as much as we love the games and want to have these competitive leagues, there's just no one's going to pay for ticket sales to go into a stadium on a regular basis. People expect things free on Twitch and in gaming. There's no money to be made anyways, I guess. I thought maybe advertising would cover it alone and merch, but I think the priority is always going to be the gaming company. So we're never going to have a healthy league that's profitable, that gives careers to people.
Yeah.
Obviously, Heroes has CCL. It's still doing competitive Heroes, and it's fine, but it's a hobby.
Yeah, it's hobbyist.
And the only thing that I've seen, I mean, I'm not even sure if the Magic Pro scene is even profitable for Wizards. I think the pro scene feeds into the product sales, but in order for that to make sense, the people that are professionals have to be able to devote their time to the sport and at least make a living off of it. And then as you build up infrastructure, those people need to be able to make money and profit too. And that's just not happening in esports.
No.
Overall, no matter how much bells and whistles there are.
I was looking at that FaZe
elaborate
side.
Marketing.
That FaZe side is mostly swag. It's mostly shirts and merch.
Yeah. I mean, it's influencer shit. Like,
yeah.
I mean, influencer. Even if your favorite athlete has transitioned to become just a variety streamer, or take Shroud. He was a competitive player. He just plays games now.
Yeah.
He's not an esport athlete anymore. He's just a guy you like to watch, parasocial stuff. It's all fine, no judgment, but he's just not that anymore. And what always appealed to me about esports was, esports, competition, getting good at the game. And it seems like that stuff's, if you look at like the StarCraft 2 channel, it isn't just that the games are less popular, it's that esports are expensive to put on. I mean, you've hosted a few esports events.
It's very
not
expensive.
free.
Yeah, it's not
wasn't free to do that Overwatch tournament, Overpants tournament that you did. It's very expensive, requires a lot of logistics, a lot of interpersonal conflict, has to be managed by talented people who can do that kind of thing, including graphics and hype, and has to be an exciting event. Very expensive. And there's no money to be made from it. And I think Blizzard, I believed a lot in Blizzard because it seemed to be StarCraft 1 was huge in Korea. We're esports company. Now we're taking it seriously. We got Hearthstone. We got Overwatch. We got StarCraft. Esport. Our BlizzCon is full of esports. But when I went in person, I saw how poorly managed it was because all the events were going on at the same time. And if it were my company, I'd say, why are all of our grand championships happening at the same time and we're competing for viewership? Like, they should be separate events, like at the one at a time. Like, this is the Overwatch Championship next weekend, Hearthstone Championship. Like, and it made me be like, they're not taking this seriously.
I always wondered about that because it seemed like just a weird decision. Maybe they thought, well, no Heroes player is going to care about Overwatch, and no Overwatch player is going to care about Heroes. But I think they were wrong about that, if that's what they were assuming.
I mean, yeah, because like as a Heroes player, I love the Heroes stuff. But when I went to BlizzCon, I'm like, I'd love to see the Overwatch stuff, but then I can't watch the Hero. What are you doing to me?
Yeah,
like,
that was weird.
It's like, I can't be the only one who's like scratching their head over this. And that means like it's expensive to put on. They can afford to put it on for the weekend. It's too expensive otherwise. Yeah. And so
the money suck that Overwatch League is the one thing that's fascinating to me because it's still a growing concern. They've scaled a lot of it back. But how do you, when you go that hard, how do you pull back from that? Like,
to Blizzard's credit, they really tried with Overwatch League to make it as legitimate. That's a sincere effort that's worthy of recognition. Like, they really tried. They got a studio for it and everything.
Yeah.
The money, I don't think there's no revenue plan, or at least one that's profitable. Maybe there was and it just didn't work. But like, how do the Bulls, make their merch? Well, they sell merch. I guess they sell tickets to the shows,
Sure.
or to the games. I don't know how that sports teams works, but they have a lot of revenue streams that must make them profitable.
It'd be interesting if you took real sports and set. Not, I don't mean that in the way people take it. I just mean sports on a court, all right, or on a field.
Yeah.
Sports on a court.
Sports on a court. If you tried to make kind of the Shroud example from sports, that would be like Michael Jordan. Was the biggest draw in NBA history. Bam, 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 bam. Then he retires. It would be like him turning on a webcam and just shooting hoop in his driveway and people watching it. It's like that, right? Or having a couple friends over for a quick 2-on-2 or something.
And he could earn millions doing that.
He absolutely
People are like,
could.
holy shit, Michael Jordan's streaming? Let's watch him.
He could do it now, like right
He
now.
could. He could go, hey, everybody, I decided I'm going to just live stream,
I think
come see
I think
what I'm
that's-
up to.
I just want to clarify because I don't know if I made this clear. Sorry to interrupt you, John. Sorry, I don't know.
No, go ahead.
But the article was saying that a Riot spokesperson has confirmed that their esports efforts are not profitable. They do not generate, even if they're in China looking like the most amazing shit in the world, they lose money on it.
Yep.
It's a net loss. Like they make money in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they can
It's
make the money.
It's elaborate marketing, and they love the esports competition, so they get to engage in something. But if you have this I think what ends up happening is you have this idea that like, oh, I want to be an esports athlete. This is a great industry to get into, great thing to do. It's a dying shit show, and you're a marketing stooge. Like, I know that's true of normal, like probably normal sports as well, but at least there's like profitability there, and that's like indicative of the health of it. But HGC happened and they pulled the rug out from under people. Like, it's not an advisable thing to go into, and I think you see more people who want to just be regular influencers and not esports people anymore. Anyway,
Yeah, they probably make a lot more money. There was a whole big thing that came out from wrestling and the WWE. They wanted to they put into all the wrestlers' contracts that if they stream on Twitch or have an OnlyFans or anything like that, they have to share part of the profit with WWE. And a lot of wrestlers didn't like this because they said they were making more money on their personal streams than their WWE contract was paying them. Like, that's a testament to what getting some notoriety and getting out there and being in business for yourself, as opposed to being in business for a corporation, can do for you. Potentially. But I think a lot of these companies bet money on this market trending upward, and I think it plateaued and then dropped.
Yeah.
So I saw some people mention like we're also in a pandemic, sure, but it was dropping before the pandemic. I mean, it's not going to have a chance to easily recover if nobody can go to events, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think that the pandemic hit and everybody went, oh, I decided I don't care about esports anymore. Like, it was already heading that way.
Yeah.
I think everybody was betting on it and everybody was trying to get into that race, and I just don't think the numbers were there. And then when that attention starts to get divided, like, you're just dealing with smaller and smaller groups of people, and as we said, it's expensive.
Yeah. It'll live on always in smaller ways, and maybe that's for the best. There's a reason why there aren't multiple leagues of kids playing football. It stays in high school and it stays in small tournaments. If it was a huge thing that would make billions of dollars, they would. Instead, the NFL, and it's all adults, and that's just how it is. I think esports is a little like that. It's like there's room for whatever there's room for, and if there's not room for it being a mega $billion throw all your money at it kind of enterprise, then have it be small stuff.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be huge.
They also do like little the rec leagues are a thing too. Like, I know I played Ultimate a lot. And
Exactly.
You just sign up and
Exactly. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like that level. Yeah. I think esports thrives because it's attainable, it's affordable, it's all of the things, and you're going to have whatever fan base you're going to have. But to pretend like it's going to be the next, it's going to be social media or VR or I don't know what all. You're.
I mean, I guess it is all marketing. It's not like there's a truly that great a difference between live sports and other sports. I guess I would just say esports has not been healthy or very profitable, whereas I would say like sports leagues are profitable, and so it's just I don't know. I think there's a lot of appearances that seem to the contrary, or I guess we could just look at it like a lot of effort was made to try and establish esports as a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And while it most certainly is a thing that exists, it is not financially very healthy, that situation.
Now,
And that could change in the future.
One small side note, I just noticed this. I was on Jeff Kaplan's Twitter page. He hasn't posted anything since May. And then suddenly on the 6th of last month, he posted something that was just a bunch of ones and zeros. What do you guys think that means?
Last month?
Yeah, so October 6th of just the month we just got through.
That's in binary. I bet you there's a translation in the comments.
There probably is. If not,
that's not Jeff Kaplan's real account.
It's not.
No,
Jeff
see
Kaplan
how
doesn't have a Twitter account.
Real Jeff Kaplan 1. That's how you know it's false.
Oh
no, I think this happened when he was left too, because I was looking at this. It says fan account in the description. Jeff Kaplan doesn't actually have an account.
Oh, well, there's stuff Twitter as far back as the. You know what?
Yeah. Well, Jeff Kaplan was a beloved, speaking of Rockstar developers, I mean, he was he had a stream of him just sitting by a fire for like a bunch of hours. And people loved it. It was adorable. I love Jeff. I mean, hopefully he wasn't one of the grodies and he was a goodie.
He seemed like a goodie,
not a gritty.
I don't know why he left, but
I want to believe that Tiggle Biddies was a good person. I can't get over that, but I mean, like, I've called my characters dumb things, and I think I'm a good person without any grody shit in his resume. So, but I still think it's funny to bring up every time. It's like a bunch of people accused of sexual harassment, but not Tiggle Biddies. He's good.
Oh, here it is. I found it. That binary code translates to space traders and raiders, which he also has as his landing photo in this apparently fake account. I don't know what that refers to or what the deal is. Is Jeff Kaplan making a game called Space Traders and Raiders? I don't know.
Maybe this fake account guy is, and he just got free promotion for it.
Yeah, maybe. Well done, Scott. Well done. All right. Moving on. One final quick story here, rather wholesome one that John found. It's a story about a senior couple trying to play, for some reason, The Last of Us Part 2, which I have questions about, but they went to Craigslist for help. John, explain what this is. And
it still exists.
Do you think this is going to be us one day? This will be us, right? Doing this.
I mean, I like to think that I will be able to figure this out. Like, this is all, like, when you listen to the interview with the people that did this, because they've talked to them. I'm reading some of these quotes from Kotaku, but it says things like, we had no idea what you're supposed to do, and we were looking for little circles with the triangle in it. Ellie stayed in that room for a day and a half trying to find the jacket just to put on to get out of like the initial tutorial area. And Bruce would say to me, get off the horse, get her off the horse and stuff like that. You just got these nice old people that got The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know why these nice old people want to play that game so bad, but they do. Yeah. And I think it's just adorable, and I love it, and they really wanted to play it, so they went to Craigslist, and they hired somebody to come over and kind of teach them the basics of the game and how to play and how to get through it.
But they're going to see so much heinous stuff in that game, like,
yeah,
I don't know, that's so weird to me.
But I mean, they haven't initially they haven't, because right now they're just on put on your jacket, get on the horse. Like, they haven't gotten to anything truly awful yet, but they're in for a ride.
They are.
I don't know if they played The Last of Us Part 1. They might be starting with Part 2. But it just made me so happy to see this couple that aren't looking at it as video games are beyond us. It's a trend that we were too old for, we missed out on. They're like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get into it. We're going to hire somebody to come over. It actually reminds me of a Simpsons episode where Homer hires a kid to teach him how to play a video game so he can beat Bart.
I remember that. Yeah, that's a good one.
But it's just made me so happy. It just made me so excited. And I thought about it because the thing that I was curious about is there a genre of game or a type of video game or anything that you would be willing to pay for training to get better at that you think, even hypothetically?
Oh man, 100%. For me, it would be, John, that's a hard question. I was gonna say like Dark Souls. Like everything I see about Elden Ring, which is out soon, I just go, oh, Elden Ring, look at that. That game looks crazy. I go, oh, right, it's a Souls-like in the worst, in all the worst ways or right ways if you're a fan. And I just can't. I guess what I'd be hiring is actually probably a therapist to help me have better patience because I know what to do. It just takes forever to get through anything. And you got to restart and you got to go back to old saves and walk forever and redo content because you weren't good enough or whatever. The whole get good thing. So yeah, like I don't know what would it be. Like
I kind of wish somebody could help you appreciate Dark Souls. Like if somebody could come over and just be like, Scott, here's why Dark Souls is great.
You know what? There's a good example. Paradox. A lot of Paradox games are just so many little things. Like I really want to play Crusader Kings 3, 2, whatever it is.
Yeah.
The new Crusader Kings game that's on Game Pass. It's on my hard drive. When I get in to play it, I'm like, man, this game. It's got so many cool ideas. And then I get so bunged up in the systems, I don't know what I'm actually freaking doing. So I think maybe I'd pay somebody $50 to spend an hour with me really tutorializing the hell out of that game. I think I would do that. Bo, would you? You don't need to. Bo knows everything. What would you need?
I need a massage. That's what I need.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've been on Craigslist in like, I don't know, at least a decade. And I looked up stuff in Ottawa where I live, and I found 2 sex dolls for sale. One of them's not used, and they're shockingly close to my neighborhood. And I'm like, who in here sells a sex doll?
Yeah.
I'm like, Craigslist never change. I'm not even logged in. Like, how to it's just a sex doll. There, yep, we got sex dolls on here.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I guess you can find anything on there. It's true.
Dude, I've never forgot the time where I got sent an invite for a BlizzCon. I don't remember what year it was. Maybe 16, 15, maybe. Somebody had sent around a sign up for a Craigslist. Or no, the Craigslist listing was to try to recruit people for an orgy at the event.
I remember this.
Do you remember this? Yeah.
Yes.
And I got invited to that, and I said,
"You're an influencer."
I said, "No, thank you."
Like if you're going, more people will go.
Yeah.
If we bring Scott to the orgy, that's a sell.
And they're like, "Bring your wife," and I'm like, "She's neither of us are interested in this. We'll probably more likely go back to the hotel around 9 and watch diners, drive-ins, and dives till midnight because we're boring."
So why is there an orgy at Blizz? Like, wouldn't you go to OrgyCon? Like,
no, dude, I'm telling you, there was weird skeevy shit going on at BlizzCon all the time.
Well, I know. I was in line up at the Starbucks, and I heard 2 people that had clearly banged the night before, and the guy was like, "That was awesome, eh? Oh, it was a good time, blah, blah, blah." And they were like, and she was like, "Yeah, Like, she was clearly done with the guy. Like, "Yeah, we banged. Get the F out of my life." It seemed to me, it was a good time, and he was just like lamenting and trying to be cool, and I was like, I don't know. I was just like, I'm trying to get my coffee, but I was clearly eavesdropping on the situation. But I was definitely cringing for the guy, and I'm like, guy, just be cool. Like,
would
you had a good time.
Would it weird? Would it weird?
Like you're ruining. Even I feel you're ruining it for me in a way.
Would it weird you guys out to know that I am aware? They don't know that I'm aware, and I'm not going to say any names, but I am aware of a Nerdtacular where an event as such actually took place with something like 6, 7 people.
Oh my god!
Oh, like a little group sesh.
Yeah, I heard about it later. I didn't know. I didn't know about it the night we were there, the weekend. I didn't know about it. But there were rumblings. I'm like, what is everyone talking about? And then finally somebody says, yeah, it totally happened. And here's,
the thing is, how did everyone else find out? Like, who leaked it? Like,
somebody in the circle of trust didn't trust because that's information that shouldn't have left the circle.
Probably not,
unless they left the door open. I mean, that's a whole other can of worms.
I think one of the people, if I remember right, one of the people would travel with somebody else and wanted nothing to do with this plan. And they're the ones that
they got invited.
Yeah, they got invited, and they're like, no, and they're the ones
that's the thing. As long as everybody's consenting and adults and everybody, like, it's fine. People do what you got to do. Sidian, once again, Yeah, for all the times I agree and disagree with City, and here's one I agree: sex isn't wrong. It isn't wrong.
No.
You've got, as long as everybody is okay and on board, nobody's being taken
I don't care.
advantage of or anything
don't
like
care.
that.
Sex is
you
not
can have
wrong.
your sex orgies, but
Sex is not wrong. It just hits weird when you're like, I'm going to a model train convention, and while I'm there, I sure love to also have a orgy. Like, I just feel like those are separate things. Like maybe I might enjoy an orgy, but I'm not like, can't wait till BlizzCon where I can find people to have an orgy with. I'm like,
Well, look.
I can't wait to go to BlizzCon to meet people who enjoy Blizzard products and want to celebrate Thrall and look at the life-size statue of Jaina and maybe wish she was real so you could ask her to marry you or something like that.
Come to your
But like,
orgy,
you know, nothing weird.
look, if you go to OrgyCon, as you put it, you don't really know what you're gonna get. But if you do an orgy at
No,
BlizzCon, then you
think
know
you
you're
do.
gonna get a socially awkward orgy where you can talk about elves at the end.
Yeah,
It's
doesn't
fine.
it seem like a bad place to do? Or it's like it's all
It
like
just depends on what you're into. Do you want to talk about elves when you're done, or do you want to go as a good, successful orgy
I
con?
just
Everybody,
feel
let's
like
go.
every city probably has a place like that where you can rent out or join sex events and stuff.
Goldshire.
Like
in real
just
life.
go do that and then be like, cool, I'm not doing that this weekend. I'm going to BlizzCon to like check out the the Overwatch League. I'll be back next weekend to bang all of you in a week's time. Like, I don't get that stuff. That's why it's not because sex is bad. It's because it's like, why are you doing it Nerdtacular?
I don't
It's
care.
like,
I don't care about consenting adults doing their consenting adulting. It's not a
Yeah,
problem for
for
me.
sure.
My bigger concern. This gets close to. Well, all right.
Don't
So,
say anything you're
I
gonna
wa-
get.
I
And
won't,
maybe I'm a
won't.
repressed person.
won't.
I just think it's weird personally. I'm
The reason, no, and I get it. I get where you're coming from. The reason it was a problem for me is there was somebody involved in it who I was supposed to meet with for something else, and they were really late. And it found out later that's why they were late, because they were up all night in this thing, and that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say about it. I don't want to say who it was, but it was one of those deals. All right.
Anyway,
Moving on.
It's just
Yeah.
fun to talk. It's fun to talk about people banging. It's like a universal truth. There's a bit of that to all this too. Before everyone just is like, why are you so down on sex? It's like,
Yeah.
it's fun to talk about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
farts.
it is.
Farts are fun.
Like,
Like that.
Those are the best stories.
Yeah,
Like,
you hear one of these?
Bo told me that story about BlizzCon, and I immediately said, I wonder if he met the people that were in the hotel room next to mine, because I gotta tell you, the people in the hotel room next to mine were really going at it.
Oh, wow.
Like, super bad at BlizzCon.
Could have been.
And I listened for a little bit, because I was like, well, what's going on over there? Like, I'm not embarrassed. I didn't go, oh, I should honor their privacy and let me turn up the volume on some music or something. I went, well, now what are they doing over there? Like, it's immediately a curiosity to it. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, it was fine. Plus, you guys
I
had
mean,
that
I
soap
didn't get
with
any
the.
offers when I was at BlizzCon.
Well, no, it's because they saw your blue
and
soap.
then I was like, it's okay. It's fine. I'm here to enjoy the event.
Yeah, they walked
That's
in the
because
room.
we were in our sections. That's how I know I hang out with the right people, is because I can identify. Like, when we went to that party we were invited to at I think it was the House of Blues or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like there was the group that was all mingling and drinking and all of that, and then there was us over on the couches. Yeah, there's a theme, and we're just hanging out over on the couches, just talking and just chatting quietly and going, I wish they turned the music down so we could talk easier.
Yep.
That's how I knew that I was with the right people, because we were the ones going, I would like the music to be quieter.
And
so we can-"
everybody in there were picking up on each other except us.
Yeah.
They were all making passes, doing stuff. Like, again, the culture of BlizzCon, it's a mixed bag, but it was happening like crazy out in that grouping. And we're all just over here. I'm sipping on a Coke, maybe
It's
even
stuff
a
like
diet.
that makes me want to say, like, you people are not nerds. Like, what makes me want to be a gatekeeper? I'm like, I came here to not have sex. What are you doing? Why are you ruining this? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I admit it.
I came here to be 40 years old and love World of Warcraft. Like, I'm not getting laid. Like, anyways.
I don't know if we ever told you this, Scott. Did I ever tell you that the moment I knew that I thought Kyle was great and immediately wanted to be his good friend for forever was, I mean, I already liked Kyle,
Sure.
but
Very
we got to
likable.
interact with him a lot at that Heroes of the Storm
Summit.
summit
Yeah.
that we went to.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where they were like, okay, we were at the summit event. They were going to send us all back to the hotel, and there were 2 buses. There was a bus that left early, and then there was going to be a bus later. And they said, like, okay, you can get on this bus, but we're going to bring out drinks, and there's going to be drinking and a bar and stuff like that. And then there's going to be a bus after. And so everybody's deciding whether or not they're going to do drinks or go back to the hotel early. Yeah. And we're all chatting, and I told Bo, and Kyle was there, and I was like, I think I might just go back to the hotel because their restaurant's open 24 hours a day, and I think I'm going to get midnight pizza. And Kyle goes, what's midnight pizza? And I said, it's pizza you get at midnight. And he goes, I want midnight pizza. And he came back to the hotel with us. And I was like, man, Kyle's good people. Yep. Anybody who's down for midnight pizza is good people.
Oh yeah. Friend of mine, friend of yours, friend of everybody's if you're into the midnight pizza. That's absolutely where I would go. I wasn't there with you guys that year, but had I been there, midnight pizza team 100%.
You would have been with us. You would have been overnight lobby style. I mean, yeah.
Without a doubt, that's where we would have gone. Because that's how we roll.
That was very memorable. I wish you were there, Scott.
I wish I was too.
Great, but that was an intimate affair. So I really got to know the Lords of the Storm guys and Garrett and Kyle. Like, it was good FaceTime just with the small.
You know what sucks though is the wedding that I had to attend that made it so I couldn't go that weekend.
Yeah. Stupid weddings. Why do you have to get married the same weekend?
I think they're getting a divorce soon.
Oh no! Well, it's sad.
Did they go to you for that, or did they go to somebody?
No,
did they go to Scott divorce lawyer?
All I did there was attend it and whatever. But I'm kind of annoyed. I feel like calling them and going, "Are you guys really getting separated or divorced?" Yeah. Well, you effed me out of the summit that year, and I really wanted to go. That's what I feel like telling them, but I won't. I won't do that.
Yeah. Okay, we should stay together then, Scott.
Yeah, my bad.
Divorce seemed like a good idea until Scott got mad, and now I don't know.
Yeah, that should definitely be the reason they should stick together, is me losing out. All right. Well done, everybody. We're going to do a Dear Martha review, but it's not a Steam review this week. It's an Amazon review. Ooh. Look at us branching
Uncharted waters.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
So
I decided to change it up. I thought, well, I wonder what Amazon will yield in terms of reviews, and it was maybe exactly what I thought, and it's truly something.
Yeah, it really is. Everything over there, the reviews are horrendous, but we're going to find out today for let's see, what is it? Super Smash Brothers Ultimate is the game, and we turn it to John to do this.
My dearest Martha, I present to you now my review for Super Smash Brothers Ultimate. Where's Mario? 1 star. Mario still hasn't made an appearance in Smash Brothers. I mean, come on, Microsoft. But everyone else is in the game, even the girls from Dead or Alive. My friends say it's better with the GameCube controllers, but even that also sucks. I plug in the GameCube and none of the 3 buttons work except the one that does the flip open on the disc reader. And that's why I'm rating Just Dance 3 out of 5. Technology works efficiently, but it's too gimmicky and repetitive. Yours in this life and the next, Antonio.
Wait, I have questions for Antonio. So he got his games mixed up, right? Because he says Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, but then he's talking about Mario's in the game.
And there's Mario's got it. Like, what Smash Brothers doesn't have Mario?
All of them have. He's the number one. He is your Ryu. He's your main fighter. So
I assume he bought Just Dance, thought it was Super Smash Brothers Melee, and was like, "Where's Mario?"
I don't know. He
Just
also
Dance?
says, "Come on, Microsoft," and talks about the GameCube, and
he
gave it a 3 out of 5, despite giving it a 1-star review.
Is it possible for someone to be that uninformed about what they're typing?
It might be.
I think Antonio knew what he was doing.
I think Antonio may have known. I think he knew the whole time what he was doing. All right. Well, that was fun.
I don't know. Yeah, it's really sus, eh? Like how bad that is.
I know. Amazon's full of these reviews. Everything you buy there has got some shit review.
I usually scour Steam for hours, you guys, to find a good Dear Martha. Yeah. It took me 2 minutes to find this review.
Oh, wow.
Amazon is a wasteland of bad reviews. The only plus side is, and I think this is where my hatred for the meme came from. I didn't have to see Shrek's head once.
Oh,
In
good.
the Amazon reviews.
Good.
Which, I'm not kidding. You can go to almost any game in Steam, look at the reviews, and somewhere in the reviews, you will see somebody who has just drawn Shrek's head in text.
I just talked to my daughter about this tonight. She is 24 this year. She just turned 24. So she is that age where, as a child, Shrek was a gigantic influence. So I said to her, can you explain to me what you late millennials, I guess is what she fits into, what your deal is with Shrek? Why is it so memeable? I understand SpongeBob. I understand almost any meme. I get it. And I get why, I get the memes themselves, but why is he an anchor point for memeing? And she said, I think it's because that movie was already weird when it happened. Like when it came out, it was weird. The faces were all disjointed. The humans looked terrible. It left this like discordant feeling with you when you watch Shrek. I said, really? She says, yeah, it's like a weird thing, and you only think of it in weird ways. So why wouldn't it be used for the weirdest memes? It's the best explanation I've been given. It's the best I've got.
That's pretty good, but I would think if they're into that, right? Like if kids are really into that, like how weird it was and just how memeable it was, why isn't there a weird cult following for the TV show Father of the Pride?
Yeah. Yeah, why?
You remember Father of the Pride?
I do
It
remember
even
that.
had Donkey in it.
Yeah.
It was the Shrek meme before Shrek was a meme.
It's like a Shrek spinoff.
What is that even? I don't even know what that is.
Father of the Pride was a sitcom on TV that was about white lions owned by Siegfried and Roy.
Yep.
And it was done by DreamWorks.
I'll say I've never heard of this, but I've heard of Shrek, so I'm probably upvoting Shrek. But I'm like, what is this Father of the Pride meme?
It was
I think
dumb.
Shrek.
It was dumb.
I think it has to do with just how universally it was known, right?
Yeah.
Even though you might have saw a lot of Father of the Pride, that's the first time I've ever heard of Father of the Pride.
Yeah, there's probably that. It's also just, I've learned that you can't, the whole point of viral on the internet has never been, no one's ever been able to force it. It just doesn't work. So what becomes viral? Unintentional stuff, a weird moment in a Nintendo Direct, a strange, moment for Steve Ballmer dancing around a stage for a Microsoft event in the 90s, yelling developers while he's all sweaty. Like, why does that persist and remain? You can't predict it, nor can you plan it. And so nobody in their right mind back in Shrek's release in early 2001 or 2000, whatever it was, no one looked at that and went, oh, just wait till the future because Shrek will be, every bad meme will be Shrek.
Yeah.
No one knows. So it's one of those, man. It's just one of those. And I like it personally because it drives John so crazy that I make it a job of mine. If I see a bad one on TikTok or somewhere, I cap it and put it in our Slack so John can enjoy it.
I get a lot of Shrek.
Yeah. Yeah, I even had
bad ones.
They're
Not
pretty
the good. There are some good ones, but like
really bad.
The ones Scott sends are sometimes nightmare fuel.
Oh, they're horrible. They're horrible, especially the low res ones. And by the way, there are people who have entire TikTok accounts with 20 million followers, and all they do is bad Shrek memes. That's the entire thing.
Now, see, that in and of itself is kind of funny and almost makes me understand the meme. It's like, oh, look at how many followers this has.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But Shrek also has a foot in something I'm learning is the phenomenon of cursed images and cursed videos.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
So like I'm big into, I like prequel memes, but I don't really think there's cursed images in prequel memes. But like Shrek is definitely has cursed images.
Yeah.
Which is, it's nothing to do with memes. It's just that I've gone down that disturbing part of YouTube where these weird accounts that just have weird videos. Like it's not even like they're snuff and super extreme. They're just cursed. Like it's just gross in some weird way, the indelible way that makes you feel like, oh, like. And Shrek is, I think, in there.
I saw one.
Some of that stuff you send, like, doesn't seem like a meme. Just seems like cursed.
It's just cursed images. Yeah.
Images.
There's one I saw the other day that was kind of clever, but also why did it have to be Shrek? I don't know. But Lord Farquaad, the character in the movie, played by, can't think of his name.
Lord
Harry and the Hendersons. John Lithgow. There you go.
Yeah.
John Lithgow plays him. Anyway, the images were him in the first corner, and it said Lord Farquaad. And the next one, it was Lord Farquaad on a quad, and it was him riding on a 4-wheeler thing. And then the next one said Lord Farquaad on a quad in the quad, and it was like a college campus quad thing. And then the next one, it just had every quad you could think of. And by the time it was done, it was like 20 different quads, and it was all working together. And I just thought, who did this? Who's got this brain and time? Blows my mind. The internet, man. What are you going to do with it? Burn it all down. All right, let's do this. Hey, video games, guys. Games we played this week. I will try not to be too long with mine, but I found a new Chore Core game today. Well, yesterday. That I think is great. I really like it.
Oh, by the way, I saw one that might be up your alley too. Let's interrupt you.
Oh, what's it called?
Because I know you like gas station simulator, prison simulators on the way.
Oh yeah, I saw that. It's
I thought of you. I'm like, Scott. Oh, it's Scott game.
Yeah, I
electrocute prisoners. It's great.
I wish listed it, and the same team who did gas station are doing a diner simulator, which looks equally
that sounds funny.
It's skeezy too, because it's like, just a dirty diner and gross people.
You got to play as like
and,
Flo, the waitress,
good.
right?
Yeah, basically you're running around taking care of everybody, cooking their food, serving it, hiring employees to help you do that, clean the place, fix it up, like day-night cycle, all that. Like, yeah, I'm in. I'm all in when that happens. I want that game.
They should also have these like two different guys that seemingly are unconnected but are staring each other down, and they're gonna have a shootout in the parking lot after.
Oh yeah,
they know each other.
Yeah, because they've got some real bad blood. And
I'm thinking of what is it, The Road to Perdition, where Jude Law and Tom Hanks are kind of
that's so
diner.
Good. That movie's so good. Gosh dang,
it's a real good one.
Well, anyway, the game is called Unpacking, and I'm going to do a full like indie review of it on the Boop Show next week. But I will say that this thing was on my radar, and I had seen some stuff about it, but I didn't know where I was going to play it or if I was going to buy it or what the deal was. And then it's surprise, I ended up on Game Pass day one. I'm like, oh, well, I'm for sure playing it now. Supports cloud saves as well, and I've played it now on a console, on xCloud, and on a PC, a Mac over a browser via xCloud. And also PC, installed it there so I could see what the mouse and keyboard were like. Anyway, it's literally a game about unpacking. You got boxes and rooms. You take out an item and you got to go, all right, where should this go? Well, this stuffed animal looks like it goes in the bed. Okay, cool. It's kind of a puzzle game. And you can decide how to rotate them. Every room in the house, including the very first one, which is what we're looking at now, chat room, if you're looking at the screen. It's this isometric pixel art. It's not rotatable. It's not 3D. It's very old school, but something really appealing about it. I can't explain it. It's some of my favorite kinds of pixel art are being used here, and there's just something about it. I can't really explain it. But anyway, you empty these boxes, you pull books out of there, and folders and toys and video game consoles and a TV remote, and it's like, something for the kitchen is in this box. I have to go to the kitchen and put it in there. Every room, and the further you get in the game, they open up more rooms, and in every room you got to unbox those boxes and organize that room in a way you think is going to give you, the finished puzzle. And most of the time you're mostly right, but once you've emptied every box, it will tell you items that are in the wrong place. So it'll be like, backpack on the floor is glowing. You're like, wait, that doesn't go there then. Where? Oh, I stuff it under the bed. Okay, cool. This soap should go somewhere. Oh, there's a drawer under the sink. Okay, cool. We'll put it in that drawer. You can rotate the items. You can really, if you want to, you can spend a lot of time in these rooms, like overthinking where everything might go. A lot of times it doesn't care that much where you put stuff. It's just the act of unpacking this stuff. And let me tell you something. I hate unpacking. I hate it. Like actual unpacking after a trip. I live out of a bag for like a month sometimes after I get home because I hate it that much.
I moved 3 years ago and I still have boxes that I'm sitting in the middle of my living room.
Exactly. And you're right to do it because that's normal. I think that's just normal behavior toward an activity that kind of sucks. The game has gamified it in a way that I'm really into it. And I'm into it for a couple of reasons. One, I just think mechanically it's just fun to pull stuff out and go, where does this go? That's very creative and they have like a fake GameCube, a fake 360, a fake bunch of controllers, fake PlayStation, movies from the era. Because so let me back up. The one thing that's really compelling about it is it starts in the year 2000, I think. And then your next level is 2004, next level is 2010, then 12, then 13. It's weird how it increments it.
Getting futury.
Yeah. And during each time, the stuff you unpack is very specific to the era, and it's all very nerdy. Like, like I said, like the console in 2003 or 4, whatever it was, you put your GameCube under your TV, and that's what you had there. Later, the 360 and the 2010 one, I think it was. And they don't call them that, but they're clearly that. There's books in the game that I own, and games. Like there's a GameCube version of Mario Kart, and it's pixels, so it doesn't look defined, but from
Nintendo,
a glance.
Nintendo, lawyer alert.
You know from a glance that's Mario Kart, and you know from a glance that's Halo, and you know from a glance that these different things are what they are.
Okay.
And in one case, there's a book that you unpack because you're kind of an artist, and the book is this beige book about learning how to draw hands. And I couldn't believe it when I pulled it out because I literally own that book. So a lot of the stuff is like based on actual stuff. Anyway, jumping to the point here, the story, if you can call it that, is like this story of I've got nothing. I'm in a crappy apartment. Now I've got a small condo and I'm in there, and there's a guy's stuff in this bathroom. I must have moved in with somebody, and you don't really know all that. Like it's not expressed to you, but somehow these objects are telling a story of like nostalgia and growth. And, I assume at some point I might even have to decorate a kid's room and start handing down some of my toys in there or something. I don't know. Like I don't know yet, but it does seem to be going that direction. I'm probably 5 levels in or something. And there's just this really chill vibe. They have 14,000 separate sound files representing different common objects people have. So everything makes its own sound. Everything.
So
there's
it's a roguelike as well. Who knows what items you're going to pick up through your life?
Kind of,
Might
yeah.
be different for you or me.
Kind of, yeah. For all I know, it does. But the like refrigerator magnets will just show up in the bottom of a thing. In this video, he just placed a Simon Says game, which is obviously.
I had that.
Yeah, I had that for sure when I was younger.
I love the look of this.
Yeah,
it has a lot of look of those, like the art style that people do. That's supposed to be the very soothing, relaxing art style. I really like how it looks.
Well, that is good to hear because that's the number one draw for me, and it's also just, especially mouse and keyboard, it's just really intuitive. You right click to rotate something if you need to. Often it just does the size you need.
Their version of operation is procedure.
Yeah, they have something called procedure, exactly. They have a bunch of old art tools that I used to have. They have a Wacom tablet sometime in the mid-aughts. They have all this kitchen shit. It's just a delightful little thing, and came out of nowhere.
Stylish, and it's creative. It's like here we have a game. It's non-violent, tells a story, accomplishes a lot of things in an interesting way. It's very cool, actually.
Yeah, I think. And it's weird to find little
neat.
little secrets.
Oh, and you do all the rooms too. There's a bathroom, so you don't just do a bedroom. It's like
it's everything.
The house.
Yeah, the more the game advances, that first level's bedroom only, but as you grow older and the game
imagine you're
advances,
a child in that first room. But okay.
Yeah, and up top, you can see you can like tab between kitchen and bedroom or bathroom here. So there's 3 in this one. But when they start to get more rooms than that, there's like a little floor plan up at the top icon. You just hit that and it'll zoom everything out and you can choose what room you want to go in.
The expansion pack should be packing rather than unpacking, or maybe a sequel, because the hardest thing is always packing, because what don't I need that I'm having a hard time throwing out that is just more junk? Like, that's a good opportunity to be like, this pair of pants I've been holding on to for 20 years and I'm never going to lose weight and fit into it. Let's just put that into the Goodwill donation, Anyway.
Yeah.
But is there like a rating system on how you unpacked, or?
Yeah. So at the end of this, it doesn't penalize you too much, but when you're done, it will say how many, if you got it all, it'll just tell you, well done, you got the maximum. If you miss something or put like right now you can see this guy struggling about whether he should put a hand towel on the rack and the main towel on the door, or the other way around, because it'll let you choose.
Yeah.
And also he's trying to put that pan somewhere. That's because it goes in the kitchen. He has to take that in the kitchen.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I see. So you do have to go to You do
It's
have
a
to go
her.
to other rooms.
It's a her. And in fact, you can see
Whose bra is it?
it's hers. So that bra on the toilet, that needs to go into the bedroom because she just happened to have it. They treat it like you would with real packing. Oh shit, I put my bras in with my toilet paper by accident, and so you got to take it to the other room. If you don't, it will tell you it's wrong, and you're encouraged to go fix
Sometimes
it.
it's on purpose. When you're just shoving shit into any random box towards the end of packing, like that.
Yeah,
happens
where
too.
you're like, oh man, I found this thing and it should have gone in this box. I'm just gonna throw it in the box I'm working on.
Kind of, yeah. Like it's weirdly realistic in that way, I found, but it also
you arrange
has
the whole shelf where cups go. This is perfect for OCD
big
organizers.
time.
Like
Big
arrange cups by size or by color, or
yeah. Or do like me and just shove them all in the thing and hope it works. I mean, I'm not
do you have any
too-
screenshots of your work? I want to see.
No, this is somebody
I want to
else.
see your packing work.
I did
which is
okay. I
hilarious.
think I do okay. Like generally, I've had mostly high scores from it, but like occasionally, I'm like, why isn't that working? And then I found out, oh, you're supposed to put the yoga mat under the bed, not in the closet or something like that. The other thing I like about it is, what was I going to say? I forgot now what I was going to say. I can't remember. Oh, every surface is a possibility, and it's easy to get lulled into this like, well, this is all prefab, pixel art, but you can just go. I mean, you can go nuts. You can put stuff everywhere, and you'll probably be wrong some of the times, but I don't know. There's just a really chill vibe. The music's really nice. If you put something in the way of a door, it won't open, so you got to move it. Like they take that stuff seriously. Just as
What
simple.
platform is it on?
This is on PC on Steam. It's also on Game Pass, as I mentioned, on PC and console. And it is on Switch, I think. I'm not sure about PlayStation or Xbox without Game Pass. I'm not sure.
It's a pretty inspiring little game.
I like it. I like it a lot. It's a real fun little goofball thing, and it kind of came out of nowhere, and I quite like it. Big shock, everybody. And again, like I said, big full review on the Boop Show next week. So if you check that out, you'll hear me go even more detail. Rogue Legacy 2, I've been playing more of that. I talked about that last week. Not much more to add, except they are making the game I want with these latest updates. It's pretty rad.
Good.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out because I did buy it, so I can try it again. But
You should definitely.
This is a wish list for me.
Definitely update yours, John, and check it out because it feels. I mean, it felt a little empty when they first launched it, and it was a little samey and all that. There's just a lot more going on, and you very quickly just get in that loop again. You're like, holy shit, I'm going to play this a lot, aren't I? It's very good. I still don't know how I feel about the wizards, though, because they can't shoot their bolts, their firebolt thing, anything other than horizontal. And it's on purpose. They're supposed to be kind of limited that way, but they also hit really hard when they do hit. But so much happens above you and below you that you have to play that character very differently. So I have a lot of, stuff to learn there. But the Gunslinger class is really cool. The Ninja class is really cool. It's a whole bunch of new shit in that game. It's real good. And then Age of Empires. I played a bunch of the campaign. I still maintain that game is great. John, I tried a skirmish where I just turtled up and played it the way we play it.
How did that work?
It went pretty well. I got attacked early. I put it on easy because that's what you do. If all I want to do is just turtle up and build a society, you just put it on easy and you hope that the AI is too stupid to do much. The problem is the AI seems pretty good, and he started pecking at me pretty early. And it was just one enemy. You can't make it so you're the only person on the entire map, at least not yet. And cheat codes are coming, they said. They just aren't there at launch. So
they know what we want to do with it.
They
They're
know.
like, yeah.
They know I want unlimited money and just let me build. So that's all coming. But I played a bunch of the campaign, and I think it's great. Now, I think it was sitting in the chat, or somebody was saying they bounced off of it because it was too educational. Like they really go deep into like the actual battles, when they happen, where they happen. They have full motion video between skirmishes showing the places in a modern sense, and then putting like Tron figures as soldiers and horses and shit fighting out in these real locations. I think it's really cool, and it's narrated by an awesome narrator and all that. I just really like that stuff. So I've been enjoying that on that level as well. I think Age of Empires 4 is legitimately very, very good, even though I understand the criticism that they didn't change much from what made 2 great. But that's kind of what I wanted. So
Yeah. I mean, when you say, do you want to play Age of Empires, I'm thinking of, your own custom scenario, just building up, doing the troops, just playing that way.
Yeah.
So
I think part of what makes it great, I think, is this is Relic, and they haven't, as far as I know, they haven't done anything big since Homeworld Remastered or whatever. So it's been a while. Relic makes a hell of a game. So anyway, very happy with it. I'm going to keep playing that. One thing I want to say about unpacking, I forgot about. They don't hold back on like the stuff you'd need to move around. There are toenail clippers, tampons, freaking panty liners, like girl stuff. It's all there.
And you unpack.
And you got and you got to find a place to put all your feminine products, which I think is great. They're like, hey, it's the lady in our story, and she's got lady stuff.
Is Steam Workshop available for?
Oh, I don't know.
For the items that are in there,
that's a great idea. I don't know.
I could see some intellectual property stuff going into the workshop. If you want your He-Man posters, maybe.
Yeah.
Somebody might do that, and maybe other unmentionables. Maybe.
Yeah, dildos is what the word you're looking for. Dildos.
Yeah. Well,
the old Steely Dan.
There you go. All right, John. I watched you do some of this. You played Super Mario RPG. How's that going?
I did. It's going well. That game is pretty short. Yeah, they did finally announce when Final Fantasy V Pixel Remaster's coming out. I believe it is next week sometime, and I think like Friday. So it's coming out soon, and so I had a little bit of time on my streams to play something else and decided to go back and revisit Super Mario RPG because that is one of my favorite role-playing games from the SNES era. It's really dumb. It's a stupid take on Mario that I just love, where Mario doesn't talk, but he's somehow a perfect impressionist of people. Like, he can literally just he spins around and he looks like a completely different person, and like that's what people like. That's not comical. People react to it. Like, they'll go, oh, did the guy that run into you look like this? And Mario spins, and then his character model looks like a crocodile. And they go, ah, yeah, that's him. Like, it's just a power that Mario has to look like somebody else. And that his ability to jump is legendary, and that people just want to see him jump. And it's like, his celebrity status is that. You've got people sitting there going, man, there's no way for us to reach that. If only that fellow Mario were here, then he could jump up there and get us because he's a great jumper, Mm-hmm. And it's a really interesting take for Mario from a time before they were really going anywhere with like quote unquote lore for Mario, right?
Oh, right.
Like Mario 64
mushroom,
hadn't come out, and
right. The Mushroom Kingdom was still a vague concept at this point, right?
Yeah, she's still called Princess Toadstool. Nobody says Peach in it. Like, it's just this really interesting time where somebody was given license to explore and play a little bit in this world, and it's really interesting. And the gameplay is still really solid. They have a timing mechanic on attacks and defense, so you're not just sitting there watching what feels like moves happening to you. You're actually participating somewhat by pressing a button at the right time. You either take less damage or do more damage on your attacks. And it's simple. Like, it's definitely an RPG that you can give to a kid, and they would probably like really enjoy it and have fun with it and make their way through it. But at the same time, like, it's just a lot of fun. It's got a good sense of humor. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And it's been really fun to revisit.
Yeah, I really had a good time watching you do it. I love that mechanic is carried forward for them, like the active defense and active timing of attacks and that with like Paper Mario series and the Luigi and Mario series and all that. I love that stuff. Those are some of my favorite Nintendo games. And when I was watching, I was like, oh, yeah, this shit's in here. This is where it started, man. Isn't this this is a Square joint, right? Didn't Square make this?
Yeah, Square made it. And that's one of the big things is there's a lot of characters from these games that people really like, specifically Geno or Gino, however you say his name. And he's a very popular character, but apparently Square owns the rights to him, not Nintendo, which is why he doesn't show up very often in properties.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. That explains, though, a lot about why we don't see that dude. What do you think of the art style in terms of like that old pre-rendered late SNES? Let's pre-render everything, kind of Diablo 2 style, and everybody looks like a a 3D Studio Max, render or whatever. How does that hold up?
It doesn't age super well on a high def screen, but there is a lot of character that they managed to get across. Like, there are animations that still stick with me. We're about to see one on the screen, which is Bowser just crying, these big like orbs out of his eyes on the screen as the thing falls, and Bowser's laugh also stands out as really, really funny. I guess in Japan he would literally flip people the bird. But it was deemed offensive, so in America, he just does this. He just puts up two fists and looks at you, but apparently in Japan, he's actually flipping people off. It's really great.
Yeah.
That is I don't know. They get a lot from a little, right? But definitely the render 3D into sprites, it has shown its age, especially if you have a high-res screen. But I still think there's a lot of character there.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you're having fun with that. And then, of course, more Final Fantasy 14 in your life. That's happening.
Yeah, every time I'm like, I should play something different for core. I'm like, but Endwalker comes out in just a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I should play Final Fantasy, and that's what I end up doing. But I have now beaten the game on my second character. I've got a few quests to go on the last little bit of patch content, and I'm caught up and ready to go. I still have a huge list of things I want to do before the expansion, but...
The expansion delayed? Did I hear? I thought maybe I saw that. Was that
true? No.
Oh.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
That's good. I thought I heard... What am I thinking of? I also heard something about that.
I thought maybe I saw something to that effect.
Did they? Are you guys just trying to scare me?
No.
Just trying to frighten me?
I don't know. I don't want to scare you.
Honestly, though, if they delayed it, I know that would bum a lot of people out. It actually wouldn't bum me out because I have such a huge list of things I want to get done before the expansion comes out, but I don't think it was delayed.
No, it says Final Fantasy 14's All Saints Wake is delayed.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, maybe it's just an event.
Yeah,
maybe
I think that's probably an event.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll be.
Yeah. No delay. I'm not seeing anything ahead.
Okay, good. So everyone, stand down. No delay. We're good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you there, buddy.
Well, awesome.
I was just sitting there and I was like, man, I could probably get another job leveled up all the way if they delayed that.
Yeah, look at that, turning clouds into cheese. No, what's the
clouds into cheese?
What am I thinking of? What is it? Turning lemons into lemonade is what I meant to say.
Something like that.
There's no clouds in cheese.
Turn clouds into cheese today here on Core.
Oh my lord. All right. Bo, you played Uria 2, the Reckoning. Just kidding.
No,
I'm just.
All right,
that's a joke.
We'll do the Uria thing first.
All right,
just from Uria Gate last week.
Okay, Uria.
That was a real hit. I heard a lot about that.
Yeah, go ahead. I just had a little X-Files for you.
Pretty shortly after the show, because I thought it was going to be a funny bit. Turns out, I crashed and bombed pretty hard. But I just wanted to say, just for everyone's, like, in case I made anyone panicked, the urea is non-toxic, and it's in a lot of things like hand lotions, and I think you posted a picture of a chicken. I don't know how it gets into chicken, but maybe it's in there somehow. But it's definitely in, like, it's browning agent for pretzels. You pee out lots of nitrogen, you breathe in nitrogen in the air. No one's worried, and it's pretty much seems like the same deal with urea. So I just thought it'd be funny if it was partially real that I was crazy about it, because I'm like, urea gross, but I'm also like, let me ham it up because it's entertaining.
Sure.
To have a spirited discussion on such things and be alarmist and and but anyways.
So you're not really drinking pee is the takeaway.
Yeah, you're not drinking pee at all.
All right.
You're fine.
All right.
But it is in pee, but like nitrogen's in pee, and you breathe it in, and you're fine. Like no big deal. So don't worry about it. Also, it's just not a toxic substance. So even if you was urea distilled from your pee, it's fine. It's fine.
It's still fine.
It's not the worst part, as long as it's, I guess, in a real, all the other stuff is removed from it. But
I left something upstairs that would have been perfect for this conversation. I ordered a ultraviolet light like they use on CSI to find blood and carpet and stuff like that. I got one because we were having some flooding. Turns out it does nothing for water, so I wasted my money. But I decided to use it on things, and I'm like, "Oh, look at your keyboard," to my daughter. That's gross. I
bet you're glad you didn't bring it to Nerdtacular.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Never take it to a hotel room ever. But
Oh my
I
God.
was using it today, just
Pop.
kind of freaking everybody out, and like, this is where the dog peed that one time, even though it's all clean now. It's still, you can still see this, like glow.
Yeah.
And I used it on the wall, and I noticed I could see little tiny. They looked like little worms burrowing out toward me and then back into something, and they were all independent of each other, and they seemed to move with my heartbeat. And this is gonna sound weird, but as I'm holding
You
it
need
there,
a gummy from a friend before?
No, it wasn't
it's
this.
it's your cornea. It was probably his cornea.
it is.
right?
But so what it is I had double what the hell are they called? Cataract surgery early, a genetic thing where my dad, same thing when he was like 42. It happened to him. It usually is a thing people don't deal with till they're like 85. It's like super old people get cataracts, but we get them when we were young. It's just the way it was with my family. And I had both of those done within about a year of each other. And that process does two things. One, a bunch of proteins and junk get broken up and left in your eye from the process, because they literally grind your lens up and suck it out with a little vacuum tube. But then also they put in these two titanium-based false lenses that I have now, and they're miracles. Like if I lived in the 1800s, I'd be the blind guy on the step telling stories, like, or dead. Like it's amazing modern stuff.
One of those two things.
But anyway, when I had that done, those little
Liam Neeson
pieces,
would throw him in a river.
right? Those little pieces float around, and the way the lenses are, they don't. For regular people, they don't see it as easily with regular lenses, but with these clear titanium and glass things, when I look through that thing, I can see them really clearly. And for a hot second, I was freaking out. I was like, dude, there are worms swimming in my eyeballs. They look like little parasites going like this. Because they're moving, not just floaters, not like everyone has floaters, not like that, like moving all over the place. So I looked it up, and it's all normal. But I don't know why I told you that story.
Does it pop up every? Well, it's from the black light. It was probably very traumatizing.
That's the only reason, because I don't see it.
I got the little floater where I'm like, there's a bug there, and then I look at like it's right on the edge. So if I look at it, it sinks away, and I'm like, what's there? But from a lifetime of realizing there's a black spot somewhere on my eyeball, like sometimes I just catch it in my periphery vision. Yeah. And I forget that it's there, and I go, whoa.
Yeah,
and
it's really weird.
Am I going crazy? Nope, there's a black spot like somewhere on my eyeball.
It was really
I can
weird.
kind of imagine that it looked weird. Does it come up any other time? Like when you're playing games, you're like,
nope. Not in the sun, not now, not here, not me looking into that light, my screen. None of this does it. This is the first time I've ever seen it, which is why I looked it up immediately. And the ultraviolet light has the lenses I have, which are not human lenses, react funny to that light and let me see way more of what's inside my eyes. And I'm not even
like
looking
an X-Men.
Oh, kind of. Yeah, it was weird. It's like
X-Men.
I don't know what to use the power
You're an
for.
X-Men.
I just have no power. I can't do anything with it.
No, your power is sight when you shouldn't have sight. You've defied the natural order.
That's true. I'd be a completely blind guy with white eyes. I'd be on the porch going, "Oh, I wouldn't go up there if I were you." That'd be my whole life. But it ain't happening.
And Liam Neeson would throw you in the river.
Hey, Bo, tell me about Back for Blood. I played a bit too, but how do you feel about Back for Blood?
Back for Blood. My initial reaction was not very positive. However, there's a number of reasons to go into that. That's not to be taken too seriously. Overall, it's a good entry in the Left 4 Dead survival sort of series things. But I got to tell you, if you want to just jump into a game and not expect to have any hurdles, this game throws a ton of left balls. Left
balls. Yeah.
Only the
left
balls.
ones. Yeah. No rights.
Tons of left balls, no right balls, which is not what you want both.
No.
It's got a card system.
Yep.
So that sucks. When I want to jump in and play the game, I don't want to have to figure out how to build a deck. I like overall the system now that I'm used to it. It's actually decently implemented, and if you're a long-term player, this will probably give you stuff to work towards. I think it's probably overall a good system, but I didn't react well to it in the beginning. I ended up with a card in my deck that made it so that my stamina wouldn't regenerate unless I got kills, but I had no idea. I was just like, whatever, let me go and play, and I was like gimping myself because you kind of want to play a shooter game. You kind of just want to get in and shoot, right? I don't want to have to deal with all this stuff right on the onset. So that bump aside, it's all right. It isn't, these systems are not my favorite thing. If I want to play a card game, I have tons of card games to play. I really don't want it in there, but since I played a bit more after my initial play, it's fine. But that was definitely a bump in the road.
This is the part Kyle likes the most. When I asked Kyle what his favorite thing about it was, it's the cards and the builds and stuff. He loves that. Surprised me.
I mean, it adds a roguelite element. So you build the way it works is you build a deck of cards, but you get a random draw from it, and you pick one as part of your modded stats. So just very basically, you'd be like, I'm going to have plus 10% stamina.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty straightforward and simple.
Yeah.
And but essential. So because unlike Vermintide, which unfortunately this game got compared to a lot, because Vermintide is still the superior experience for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
It's to compare to that. It's a lot of complications. Like in order to swing my bat, it costs stamina, and I can run out of stamina. I'm like, in Vermintide, I don't run out of stamina. I can swing my sword all I want. This is bullshit. I really hated it. And like, honestly, melee, like everyone was playing with guns, and I was telling Mike and Crofton, I'm like, melee's where it's at. Like all these zombies are running at you. Use a baseball bat. You just clear out 3 with one swing. Like, why are we wasting bullets and time shooting anything? But the melee wasn't working out so well, and it's because it's gated behind getting cards. So once I've upgraded my deck somewhat, I was playing last night, and I'm able to, I have tons of stamina. I'm able to do tons of swings, and the game's super easy now.
Sure.
As my strategy, I'm playing Salt Spire basically, which is I have a melee weapon, I clear out dudes, and then when something bad, like a teammate is in trouble, I have a sniper rifle, and I just, because one of Salt Spire's ultimates is a direct damage, like,
yeah,
and then his weapon is usually a precision weapon.
Yeah.
So I'm playing it the exact same way I play Vermintide.
That's funny.
The game.
I love that. I love that you're doing that, and I also think, okay, let me ask you one question. Do you think this is so much? It's Turtle Rock again, guys responsible for the original Left 4 Dead series. Is this just my takeaway was, okay, the card thing adds a little bit of strategy, but at the end of the day, I'm playing Left 4 Dead again. That's what this feels like.
Yep, it's Left 4 Dead. Even the upgraded items adds a little bit of RPG-ness to it, but whatever. It's like it's a slightly better weapon, no big deal. Ultimately, those systems I find overall are not what's wrong with the game. The 2 major things I would say as criticism of the game is it's more zombies. Guess what? It's zombies. I think games like, I know Deep Rock Galactic's not quite in the genre, but Deep Rock Galactic and Vermintide are like, we can have 4-player co-ops that have interesting enemy types and mechanics.
Yeah.
Zombies are very boring, and especially the tall boys and the exploders. Not super special. Like, I didn't really. I'm like, mechanically, because it's a gun game mostly. It's just I think it's too much like Left 4 Dead 1 or 2 and adds nothing new to the recipe. Everything new here is microtransaction-y and cosmetic-y, and there's no good. I think the bar has been raised in sophistication for mechanics. Like in Vermintide, there's the shield guys, there's the monks. There's different types of Chaos Warriors, different ways to do armor. I find this is very much zombie survival horror, and the bigger enemies are just bigger zombies with weak points. It wasn't super compelling to me. But so I didn't, and this is just a personal opinion, I didn't really enjoy the zombie aesthetic now that I know there's other things in this genre that can be done.
Yeah.
It seems a little like going back to basics and not in a good way. The other thing is, the levels suck. The levels are so short. Every level's like walk 10 feet and then do a thing here, and there's your safe room. It's like you look at Act 1 and there's like 10 stages. And again, I'm going back to Vermintide. I know it's not Vermintide. I'm judging it by another game, but Vermintide's like a mission is like a good 30 minutes to an hour and a half sometimes. There's a survival aspect to like this slog. Like, it's important. And like there was one mission where it's like, go to this diner, shoot things that invade the diner. Okay, you're done. And I'm like, there's too many breaks and pauses in the game as it's designed, and I don't know why that is. It feels like Act 1 could be just 2 or 3 different levels, and that's it.
Yeah, I'd say one of the strengths of the first 2 games, the first 2 Left 4 Dead games, was the pacing felt pretty good. Like the level design was pretty good. I also think the character design was way better in those earlier games. This new none of the characters in this are interesting to me. Like, and you can
Yeah,
even
they're not
unlock more.
memorable.
And they're just like, oh, well, that's boring. There's no Francis. There's no Bill. There's no Zoe. Like, it's just not
The
same.
storytelling's not interesting because usually what'll happen is you get some when the cinematic spools up, it's some like country rock, like it's like, we got this camp here, you got to defend the camp, but don't worry, we'll get those. Like, it's not really a story, it's like some narrator saying cool stuff. Like, it's not good. I don't think it's particularly well done. The shooting's good, like the gameplay feel is pretty good. It's what you'd expect, but
I did think it shot pretty well.
They didn't. The magic sauce isn't here, I think, overall, unfortunately. But
some people are loving this, and that's all they want to do. And then others are, I don't know, more like us. Are like, it's okay. I just feel like I'm kind of doing what I always was doing in these games. And then there's these like changes that don't feel as good as they used to feel, like characterization.
I'd say it's a good game, but it's not. It's just not universally good.
Yeah,
I just think there's a number of things that make for personal taste. Like, I definitely play it with friends, and it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's well done. It's well, no bugs. It's a well executed game. Just genre wise, not my thing. And
see, and I like zombies, so I'm kind of down with the genre. But I even felt like it's a little samey, and the pacing's weird, and these characters are annoying, not cool, and I don't really care about unlocking new ones. And
it strikes me very much like how, and part of the reason why I want to try it again, like my initial review of Rogue Legacy 2, which was, this feels like more Rogue Legacy, but I feel like we've moved on since now, and so many other people have done so many interesting things that going back to what it was, as great as it was at the time, like now it feels a little dated. Now it feels a little not great anymore.
Yeah. Yep. I also doesn't scare me as much, and those old games scared me. So I don't know what that means. Maybe I got over it. Maybe that's all it is, but I don't know. There was something about creeping up on a witch.
Ratmen.
Yeah, Ratmen. And also, like Dark Tide's the one I'm waiting for. I really want, because it's, Vermintide, but the Vermintide team making a 40K game, and that's all you had to tell me, and I'm signed up.
I think
I'm excited about that.
What that studio did well is they made interesting enemy types.
Mm-hmm.
I think like there's the rat catcher that hooks people by the head. Like, there's a lot of interesting variety, and this was like tall boys hit longer, exploders explode, birds scream. Like, I wasn't like, there was no point where I was like, holy shit, wow, this game.
Mm-hmm.
And like Vermintide really felt like that sometimes, with these beautiful vistas and interesting locales and gross enemies or interesting, like,
and the
characters,
characters are great. Like, they understood.
And the characters had great personality. Yeah, like they just did a lot right, and it's like, that's just not what Left 4 Dead ever really was. But it doesn't really feel like there's much new in Back 4 Blood. It's just more Left 4 Dead. So if you thought Left 4 Dead is perfect, then there's a game for you. I think the only thing I would say is the levels are probably shorter than what you had previously had.
Yeah.
But apart from that, everything's solid here.
Oh, man. I want Dark Tide. That's what I want.
I love the dwarf. There's a part where there's tall grass, and if you play as the dwarf, you can't see him. You just see like the top of his helmet poke out. It's the smallest thing, but it was intended, and it's hilarious and beautiful, and it's just like that kind of thing. I really appreciate those aesthetic touches of, I don't even know, just feel of being in the game, right?
Yeah.
Like, the dwarf you just see, in a field, if there was a short hobbit or something, you just see the bushes moving, or the thing, and that's what you see when you play as him in the game. It's cool. I
love that's one of your reasons to like it. I think that's great. You're looking for it.
I want to play it again, and that's how I ended up playing Back 4 Blood.
Yeah,
is Crofton was like, it's Halloween, let's play a zombie game, and I'm like, dude, why don't we just play Vermintide? It's for $8. Buy it. I'll buy it for you. But then that sale went off.
Yeah.
And we ended up playing Back 4 Blood. He's like, I just don't like the aesthetic of Vermintide. I'm like, you're a crazy person. Back 4 Blood has got nothing on Vermintide. But anyways, I lost.
I agree. Vermintide's got all the zombies you can eat. It's got everything yes, it's primarily a melee game, but
yeah. But look at that ogre. Like that. See, there's an ogre. Like they definitely learned took some tricks in Back 4 Blood from Vermintide.
Yeah.
Including the ogre, but the ogre in Back 4 Blood is just this giant warty pus nipple thing version of the zombie, but the ogre in Vermintide, it looks like sloppy squid things pasted to, like, just the artists they have on it designing the look of the things. It's like, you're just like, this is way cooler looking than anything Back 4 Blood can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so
good reminder for those who are waiting. Maybe Dark or Vermintide's too Middle Ages, too whatever for you. Dark Tide will be out. Oh, that got delayed till next year, didn't it?
It got delayed too. Remember, the only thing there's more of than games releasing is games delayed.
The games that aren't releasing. All right. Well, keep your eyes open. Are you going to play Lost Ark this weekend? Closed beta?
Downloading right after the show. I don't know if I'll get in.
It and do it.
I might do it too. I'm very curious about this game.
It's overwhelmingly positive. This game's been out since 2014.
Yeah.
I think maybe like
2016.
We're not talking a new game. We're just talking a new game for North Americans. Russians and Koreans have been playing this game forever.
Yeah.
It's a well-regarded game, so I'm going to try and get in to give it a try and see if it lives up to the hype.
Yeah, Lost Ark has been, let's see, I want to say it was 2016. I don't think it was as old as 2014, but it's close. But yeah, it is, since the day I ever heard about it, I thought, oh, that'll be a game. And then just never
looking for the Diablo 3 next. Like, Path of Exile didn't really hit. The other ones didn't really hit. Darksiders Genesis, I wanted to like it a lot, but it isn't a Diablo game.
Yeah, it's not a Diablo game. I keep hearing good things about what's the other one everyone likes?
Well, I mean, Grim Dawn didn't really do it for me either, but I can appreciate it. But
I really like Grim Dawn.
Torchlight wasn't that?
It wasn't.
Grim Dawn, popular one though.
Well, Grim Dawn was all about the campaign.
Well, there was Wolcen. There was a couple of indie hopefuls, but they didn't really. They ended up sort of. Wolcen was one of them. They ended up crashing and burning in various ways.
There's a Diablo-like on Steam. What's this called? Everyone likes it. Oh, these lists are a nightmare. Okay, I can't find it.
It's hard to find anything on Steam. You're right, action RPG, and like everything's an action RPG.
Yeah, no kidding.
The Ascent was all right, but not quite it. It's another good one.
Plus, these
one
are
that everyone likes that isn't Path of Exile.
No, it's the not Hades. Chat room, you're not helping me tonight. It's something else. It's
Titan Quest.
No, I do like Titan Quest though. Not Torchlight. It's newish. It's still maybe even early access, but just well regarded. Not Wolcen. Oh shit. I can't remember. I have it wish listed and I can't find it because my wish list is 400 million games long. It's so bad. Anyways,
unfortunately, you write ARPG too, and people like put Witcher: The Wild Hunt as an ARPG, and I'm like,
yeah, they don't know. Oh, Last Epoch. That's it.
Oh, Last Epoch
or Epic or
I haven't checked in on that in a little while.
Hearing real strong things about that. In its current state.
Very positive on Steam. Still early access.
Yeah. Guess it's come a long way. Making a lot of people happy. So we'll see if that's a contender.
Okay, let me re-add it to my wish list so I don't lose track of it. I thought maybe that had launched.
But Lost Ark looks like liquid sexy time. It looks great. Don't even know what that means. All right.
Yeah,
well, there you go.
Sexy time.
And don't forget the words uttered today. Old warty puss nipple. That's an important thing to remember. Don't let it go by. Okay? All right.
That's a good question.
We got an email from a listener. Got a couple of them. I'll read these real quick. We got one from Will. He sent it to talktothecore@gmail.com. It says, "Hey core guys, was just listening to the most recent episode and your discussion of the dissatisfied PlayStation 5 fan. I definitely get wanting your favorite podcasters / streamers, etc. to identify with your preferences, but that's not really why I listen to you guys at all. I come to you to hear about stuff I wouldn't otherwise engage with. I mean, I would love to hear you talk about the new Far Cry. Has anyone played that? Probably not.
Hell no.
I thought about it. I just feel I'm a little burned out on Far Cry. I can't get excited about it. I'm sure that new game's fine. It's probably fine. And maybe I will eventually, but right now I'm just like, I cannot be bothered.
I played a lot of the one where it was the religious guy.
5.
And the ending was so bad that I just was like, well, maybe I don't need to play Far Cry anymore.
I played the pseudo sequel to that was like Mad Maxy kind of with all the pink paint and everything in it. I thought it was all right, but I don't know. I'm Far Cried out. I think. Anyway, he says, I'm currently enjoying blowing that shit up, and I think you would as well. I'm not above a shameless plug. Anyway, where you guys really shine is the disparate views you bring to gaming. Between Scott's oddball view of the world and deep knowledge of the gaming industry, I think that's a compliment.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know how
He
to
said
take
it was
the
good.
oddball thing. John's sardonic takes and love of JRPGs, and Bo's old school nature and dedication to hardcore play. You represent a much wider view of video games than most. So I don't so much have a question as I do a thank you. I don't know what the ratio of complaints is to thank yous are, but I wanted to add to the latter side of the scale. We really don't get very many complaints. It's very rare.
Just this past week about Uria.
Just the Uria thing, yeah.
Uria Gate 2021.
Uria Gate. P-Gate. Anyway, you guys are the reason I've tried numerous games I now love, and I get genuinely happy every time the podcast drops, especially if it's extra long. I hope you continue your idiosyncratic takes for as long as you find joy in it. Thanks, you guys, Will. Well, that's very nice, Will.
That's a wonderful, nice email.
Yeah.
Thank you for your comments.
Yeah, it was really cool. Thank you for that. Here's a short one from Rasmus Johansson. It deals with, what is this? Oh, this is different. He says, hey, what did I say? Rasmus?
And Coke. You didn't know.
Rasmus is in Coke.
Better not pee it out.
That's what I was
That's this person's name. Let's be careful before we start making jokes.
It's right there.
That's
Rasmus
fair.
Johansson.
Content.
That's fair.
Rasmus Johansson, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
Would you say that? I don't know. Look at it. See?
I don't
No,
know.
I thought I heard Erasmus.
I meant Ras.
I added the ear in my hearing.
yeah. I was going off what Bo said. Yeah, that's not.
Yeah, it's
I was
not
going off
Erasmus.
Erasmus, which is what I heard.
It's definitely
Now that I'm looking at the email, I had something else. Because look, this is what my face does when the show notes are open. It just got better as soon as I said that.
Yeah.
But it's blinding. So I opened up YouTube because I got the dark theme, and my lighting is way, way better. But then I got criticized for making fun of listeners' names. I had to go back to the show notes, and it looks like this. So I just I don't need people to know that I'm this white.
No.
So, reflective. Like, you could put me outside to avoid traffic going in certain areas.
I'd also like to point.
Yeah.
I'd also like to add to the conversation that Rasmus is the shortened form of Erasmus, a name which means beloved.
Oh. Well, that's great. I like
common
that.
male name in Scandinavia.
Well, let's see if we
now
beloved
that I
him.
can see it, I think it's a cool name.
Let's see if we still believe that he's beloved after we read this.
Oh.
He says
I hate you guys.
No, he
You
likes
guys
his
are
fun.
awful.
He says the other week, a listener suggested you create some kind of list of all the games you talk about and recommend. I thought, why not create a Steam community and add a curator list for this very purpose? And you can do that. I've never done this. I have curators I follow on Twitter on Steam.
I think it's a very fine idea. So can we all become managers of this?
I think so. I don't know. That's the
Do
thing we'd have to
one
learn.
central list for all of us, or do we each have to have our own list?
I don't know. I think we just do a list together and
Yeah,
just
we'd
put
do
our
like
favorite games
it'd be
on
like
there,
a
and
core list that we could.
We don't veto games. I'm not going to go in there and stealth take off Final Fantasy 14 or anything like that.
Thank you.
I like that idea though. I like that idea a lot.
Maybe we'll keep the adult games out of it just to be sure that no kids are going into there.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we don't really play a lot.
Say that in case I it's not that I would want to, but I might think it's comedic at some point to put Subverse or Love Esquire in there, and so I just established that as a policy now that we don't need those kinds of jokes in this.
It's that weird one I played that was like Quake but naked people. What was that?
Quake, but
remember
naked
that
people?
you guys said, "Oh, you got to play." It was like Code I got, and normally I don't hunt those kind of games down, but I was.
Oh yeah, I remember what one you're talking about. I don't remember its name, but yeah, we had a hard time showing.
She Will Be Punished, there's one called. Apparently, there's one called She Will Punish. No, She Will Punish Them. You play as it's a Diablo-like where you can play 4-player co-op, and you're all succubuses, and you're scantily dressed. But it's a third-person action game.
It's called,
but it's also a super BDSM pose the woman to make pictures game.
Yeah.
And it's called She Will Punish Them. Which I just whenever it pops up on Steam, I'm like, it's just such a weird. She will punish them.
I thought it was called
no,
just
the
Succubus.
one Scott was thinking of was the one that has like the the Giger-esque style art, right?
Yes.
And
Oh, I remember
Yes.
him talking about
Yeah,
this.
I don't remember the name, but
it's got a lot of. Speaking of pus nipples,
Yeah, there was a lot of
it's
pus
a pus
nipples.
nipple style
It
game.
was actually really kind of scary. Like, it freaked me out, that game. Okay, right there, I just put in the chat is the one you're talking about, Bo. It's called Succubus.
Yeah, there's one called Succubus. But,
And that's the one I'm thinking of. And that one claims it's full of...
I'm not gonna lie, I do a lot of window shopping in the adult section on Steam. I just like you look at one, you're like, this is on Steam, and then you see another one, you're like, really? But
it's all very odd. I
I
find
don't
it
own
odd.
any of them. It just feels weird to buy a game like where I'm just like, oh, interesting. Computer graphics lady has my attention.
but
I'm like, I can't
sometimes
buy
it gets
this.
recommended based on other things you play that are innocent. For example, trying to find Scott's game, I went to the sexual content section of Steam, and number 2 on top sellers is Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and
Well, yeah, it's a
number 6 is Resident Evil Village. So just
Village. That's the one with Mother. Is that her name?
No,
No, Lady
the vampire lady.
Dominic. Lady Dimitri.
Lady Dominic.
Lady Dominic. Yep.
Yeah,
Got it.
no.
Dominic is a French name, by the way, for a girl.
Dominique.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever
not
see...
Dominic, the male version?
Did you ever see that mod in that game where her hat got bigger every time you looked at her? Did you ever see that?
No.
I did, yeah.
Oh, it's so good. All you
Sounds
did,
awesome.
I only saw a video of it, but basically the first time you look at her, hat's normal. You look away, literally look back at her, it will grow like an inch. And then so throughout the game, every time you see her hat grows. And if you really work at it, by the time this guy was done with his video, her hat was like the whole map. It was like this giant hat. You didn't even know where she was. You just knew that part of the hat was in your room. It was amazing.
I found it, Scott. I know it's it because I've got the one friend owns this game, Lust from Beyond.
Oh, that was it. Lust from Beyond. And I was so hesitant, but it ended up being more kind of pure horror than... There was no sexy time in it. Or at least that I didn't get to. I bounced off, but it was pretty boring, actually. Yeah, this Succubus game has got all kinds of toplessness and, vagine. There's some vagine in there.
That's how they say it in Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
That's a Borat thing.
I almost watched the 2 Borat movies the other night because I was just in a mood.
They're great.
They are
They're
great.
so good.
They are great.
They're classics.
It's really hard to watch. I really liked the second one. The second one
The second one was really good.
It had this weird heart to it. Like, I don't know why it was so surprising for me. The girl that played the daughter, she was so good. Yeah. I loved that. I loved that movie. I liked it better than the first one. The first one cracks me up, but that one had some special sauce. It was really good. All right. That's it for your emails, everybody. talktothecore@gmail.com is the address. Once again, please use it at your leisure. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, what we'd really love to hear from you is your support for the show. Head on over to patreon.com/core show and throw us a couple of bucks. It's real easy to do it, and all the reasons are listed there. So be one of the few, the proud, the Patreon supporters at patreon.com/core show. And huge thanks to everybody who already does. We really, really appreciate it. Details about that and everything else we're up to over at frogpants.com/core. As I always try to do, I end the show with asking, anything fantastic or magical in the brains of our fellow hosts here. So let's start with John. John, anything you want to say at the end here?
Not a word of wisdom, but something that happened during the show that I thought I'd share with everybody is down on my dashboard for Windows, there's a section where it tells me what the weather is.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I didn't know it did this. It decided in the middle of the show to change that to sports information.
Wow.
But I didn't realize it, and so I looked down trying to find out what the weather was, and I saw the Miami Heat's basketball logo, which made it look like the weather was meteors.
Oh no.
And I got very concerned in the middle of the show that they had not only a meteor icon, and I was immediately taken by really, they wouldn't just go guys take cover meteors. They had a little icon for it, but I got very worried in the middle of this show because I saw that. So, just a heads up.
You also live in Phoenix, which is not that unusual to hear about a meteor. Meteor death in Phoenix sounds about right. So yeah, well done, Bo. Anything to add?
Yeah, be responsible with your use of icons.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't put up with any harassment from your Animal Crossing animals that you left for a year. Okay?
That's right. Make your games be nice to you.
Yeah. Damn it.
Don't let your games. Don't enter into codependent relationships with your games.
No. But do come back here next week for more fantastic, riveting content on the show called Core. We'll see you all then.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Barry.
Oh.
Very.